Hey.
Yes. I want to welcome y'all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most normal ass Carl. To my front, I have my man at Just Lex, and to his left and my right, the center of attention, I have the one, the only, Juicy J.
Hey.
Shut the fuck up!
Where's my
DJ Normal Ass Carl in the mix.
When I went to the music, it assigned me out.
Normal Ass Carl.
And Just Lex.
He don't even sound like that no more. It's crazy. I was looking at G. They got little muscles now together and shit. I was sitting here thinking like, Chris whoop G ass. I ain't got one of those off in a while. I be trying to get him off when he least expected. He'll be like, nah, I don't think so, big bro. I think that he gonna go ahead and win in the heads up battle. Seen Lex in the garage acting like Gridiron Gang. Kids out here doing jumps and leaps and shit in the hot sun. I said, oh, okay. He think he Nick Saban. he got the whole team in the garage right there. CrossFit dad and everything, you know. He the one with everything in the garage, man. Listen, I don't want to talk heavy about kids in the beginning because I have a special segment for that.
Oh, good.
And I know I don't want to do it twice, right? So any sports related shit with our kids, anything going on with them personally in their lives, we're going to save that because I have a special segment for that where I want to talk about that specifically. So
I like that.
Yes, absolutely. Because I read an article in the current in the news, and I wanted to share that with y'all, which pretty much came about the premise of this podcast. So I want to save that for later, but I want to ask y'all how y'all doing. And I'm going to start with Jay because you look like you just steaming ready to get some shit off.
Wow.
You said, hey, look, Lex told us prior to us starting, like, yo, I'll take us down a dark path if you need us to. So I'm going to say that one for later.
That's not what I meant. What I meant is I'll find a way because you said we just trying to have fun.
That sounds like the same thing, just like a cool way of saying it.
No, because now they're thinking, oh, we got some shit to say. And like, how you doing this week? I'm like, cool.
Now you seem like when you came in, that's what threw me off when you said it. I was like, oh, he came in, little dress, got his fatigues on and shit.
That's because what Carl doesn't understand. Hold on. What Carl doesn't understand is that we got trauma, and so you carry that. My tone got serious.
Absolutely.
I don't know why it gets serious when I talk about serious things, huh? But let me make it a little lighter. When you have trauma, when you're going through things, when you're experiencing, when you're healing, you're carrying a lot with you. So we can definitely have a good time and joke, but it's easy to go into a different side because everything's there. So it's like it can come to the surface or we can go down that lane where you can trauma bond. So I think it's just, I don't know, it's fresh. So it doesn't necessarily mean to be like anything happened. It's just like, man, we can go there real quick.
Absolutely.
We can go down memory lane, like my favorite.
I want you to hold that because I want to address that. Absolutely. In a nice, peaceful way, right? I don't want you to think I'm trying to get spicy. If I come off kind of crazy, just say, Carl, you tripping a little bit. Pull back the reins. But I want to address that.
Okay.
Because he said something this week that made me write it down in the notes. Or either you or someone else. But it was from a conversation in our group chat where I came through just breezing through. And I was like, oh, I need to write that down. So, yeah. How you been, though?
Oh, you know what? I'm good. I'm feeling good today.
What'd you do today?
What did I do? I went to the pool at my sister's. But yesterday, I had a long week. So I was like going crazy because I was at home with my kids all week. My son was sick. He's not sleeping. I was like my daughter's on this like weird screaming tip. I was losing my mind.
Right.
And so like by the grace of God, my mom, who like hardly ever, no shade, but she doesn't take my kids that often. She randomly offered to take them.
Yeah, this new generation of grandmas is different.
You know, they built different.
For real.
And so she was like, but she still was on a regimen. She was like, I can pick them up around 4 or 5 and I'll drop them off at 10. I was like, I'll take it.
6 hours is a good grace period.
I'll take it. Overnight.
Oh, you did say it was a kid-free house. I seen that.
And I hadn't
one of the rare moments I checked that. He was hating.
And I haven't had that like in 11 months, 10 months over where I had not any kids. And so I made plans to go out with a new homegirl that I met through my daughter. Our daughters became besties through school, and then but it's interesting. I'm not going to get into it, but originally I met the husband, and they were long distance, and so now I've met her, and since I've met her, and she's kind of taken over, me and her have become really good friends. So we went out and we had a great time, but we were like,
where'd you go?
we went to PB. There was this like 90s day party, but we ended up missing it because we were just being girls. And
I'm glad you said that because I feel like girls are the ones that be like, oh, I'm about to be ready in 20 minutes. That shit turned into like 2 hours.
No, literally.
Yeah.
And like we both I'm not a big drinker, but we both knew we were like, okay, we're gonna let loose. We're gonna have a good time. Like the kids. Oh, and the girls were spending the night together. And she cooked dinner. She had snacks, so they were all squared away at her place. And she lives. I won't say where she lives, but so we were in the area, and so we were like, all right, let's go out, let's see what's going on. And we ended up missing it because we're drinking, we're talking, we're like, okay, but
at the house.
Oh,
so y'all were at least together.
Yeah,
That's cool.
And we're like, but we're not gonna get too crazy. We're not gonna have too many shots. We're gonna keep it cute.
5 minutes later,
we are like, okay, we're a little tipsy, so we try to make the spot. We don't make it. We can't find parking, and we're both people, which I can appreciate. My glasses are hurting my ears.
No, you good.
Is I don't push shit anymore. So if it takes too long to find parking, if I see too many police, we saw a bunch of police. It looked like they were setting up a checkpoint. We saw the vans, the trucks, and so we were getting kind of spooked. And I'm like, it don't take me very much to be like, wasn't meant to be. Time to go home. And she was on the same tip. So we ended up parking. Took a little walk, ended up coming back. We're about to call it. We were going to stop at Silver Fox on the way out just to see. We ended up stumbling upon, because we ended up at the spot trying to see if we could find where folks were headed, but it was a young crowd, and we were like, nah, that's good. But we ended up in Mavericks. In Pacific Beach.
Okay, it's been a while since I've heard that.
And
I ain't been out. That's crazy.
No, me neither. Like this. And my friend.
And I tell you what, PB is 10th on my list of places to go. So.
And it wasn't. We were drawn to that area because we were supposed to hit that 90s day party that ended at 8, and we missed. So we were like, well, we're already here. We might as well explore. Exactly.
A lot of young kids walking around.
And that's what it was. So that's also why, we were looking in places, we were chilling though. We were getting the cat calls, and so we were just nowhere felt comfortable.
So you still got it in these streets, okay?
No, it wasn't even me. My friend is so beautiful. Actually, dude, you literally came up because. Don't
do that.
Hold on.
Still got it too?
Yeah. No. That sounded like mad. I want to be respectful.
Nah, he like that. In his circle, he'll get enough love, man. He just what I'm saying. You go to Pop Warner Gauge, you go to work and shit. You don't know about what women think you attractive or whatever.
No, so
I don't know.
I don't know. Fuck it. I'm gonna just say because I already dug my hole. I'm gonna say.
I want to hear too.
I don't want to be disrespectful to your which you've said it on the air, right? Your.
Nah, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
We're not there yet. We're not there the story.
Okay.
You're gonna start a stir this week with anybody we run into.
I want to be respectful of everyone's privacy, but so I wasn't trying to set Lex up, necessarily, but I was talking to my homegirl, and she's so beautiful, but she was like, I want to try white guys. And me and Lex were having that conversation the other day. And so just a little bit about me. And I won't get into it.
Shit.
And so I was like,
I gotta see what she look like.
But she's new. She's from Atlanta. She's beautiful.
Put a photo up
she's
while
a
we
model.
do this. Yeah. Put a photo up while we do it.
hey, Mason, give some context because it definitely sounded like you was trying to fuck me too.
Okay.
You just said your friend said she want to try a white guy, and then you said, and me and him was just having this conversation too. I'm just saying.
He said to clarify. He told you to clarify.
Okay. Well,
that's fair.
Then
that's
I guess. Okay. Well, it was just. Well, now it's gonna sound like I want to fuck you even more.
no, even more.
I don't know if that's the conversation.
No, I think he said that you said it on accident. No,
I'm not saying that's what you meant. I'm saying in case
I
they
know,
take
but
it that way.
I feel okay. Well, the clarification is, I don't know. It is that I have dated a lot of white guys, and that white guys used to be my type. And I think I made
even in high school.
No.
Okay, I was about to say. I could have sworn it was a lot of Hakeems.
Don't do me. Here's the
I
thing.
made that shit up. Hakeem sound like
That
a
sounds
good brother that
let
wear
me
that.
find it. No, but I don't discriminate. But yeah, in my early 20s,
I'm always
mid
interested
20s,
in who finds Lex attractive and not say you ugly or
She
nothing
didn't
like
say
that.
she did. She just said she wanted to try
And she
white
said,
guy.
and saying that, and then she's from Atlanta. I was like, I gotta see this now.
Okay.
Yeah, Atlanta. She's
Jonathan
from.
was trying to get me to go to Clark. He's like, you clean up out here.
I'll just pull up the whole thing.
Oh shit! Oh,
Okay,
she tear his life apart.
let me clarify.
I like that. Let me see.
clarify. I made a joke. I don't know how the joke came up. Where I was like, you'd be surprised that you once upon a time, like, you were more my type than Carl.
Mm-hmm.
And so that got into the conversation that I had a preference at one point, or I don't know preference, but I
She's
had a
solid, though.
season where I dated
Beautiful
a lot of
woman.
white men. And so when she was like, girl, I'm thinking about trying white men, I was like, do it. Like,
Do
like
it.
I'm,
You wanna see
I'm
too?
a,
Go ahead, man.
Right.
I'm a fan.
He a good shea butter fan too.
And so then I was like, so then I was like, you're so beautiful. And then honestly, I was looking at her and she resembles to me a little bit of Lex's children's mother.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
And so I was like, dude, my guy I pod with, like, he would think you're so beautiful, but, I don't know where he's at right now. And in the dating scene, I was like, but if he ever, like, was open and you were open and the timing was right, I was like, I could see you guys, like,
tap dance out of this.
and
movie.
so,
Crazy.
but I'm not lying. Everything is
I
the
like
truth.
you here though. It's cool. Like, I love
Everything
it.
is the truth
I
because
know.
it sounded so
I
like.
know, but the
What do you have to say? You threw me out here.
Don't do
Back
that.
me up.
Don't
Say
do that.
something.
He's flattered.
Wait, what? No. It still doesn't sound like she's attracted to me personally. She just said she wanted to try a white dude, and he was like, "Oh yeah, my boy, this, and that."
Yeah,
But all she had to do was show like your phone. Did you show her?
I didn't. I
Yeah,
didn't
see, that's
show.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
No, but
She
I
has
was.
no idea who I am.
I was like,
yeah, but I think
I'm
that
sure
you
she can just.
like. Here's the thing: you're like a light skinned black dude, right? As fucked up as that may sound, but you're a great cross between like, all right, do I want to stay like within my culture,
I
white,
understand that part.
or do I want to go full on?
But
like,
that doesn't mean
comb over.
That doesn't come with the same flattery of like, oh, specifically you, I'm attracted
I'm
to
having
you.
fun too.
I was giving the flattery though.
having
What
fun.
about that part? The fact that I was
No,
like,
no, I
I
appreciate
think that there's
that.
someone that you would
No,
think
I'm
is
not.
cool and attractive. And
I know I'm talking about the way he's getting excited.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell him to pump his brakes.
I'm pumped.
Yeah. I
Great
know.
stop. I'm chilling.
I wanna. Yeah, never mind. Let's just.
Well, even still, right? Like, I imagine that, like, you spent your whole life having this conversation. That's why I'm having fun with it.
Yes.
Because if you
The
you
conversation you brought up, I've had myself.
even
Or
the one
people-
that even the one
women
that she's
told
having,
me-
people have given recommendations of, oh, you would love Alex.
Women told me like, oh, same exact thing. I don't know how far I want to go, so you're like a transitional,
Right,
you're like
right.
the middle ground.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, given your personality, that's why that shit's funny. But
I
then
understand it.
on the other side of it too is like he'll tell you I'm a solid 6 at the barbecue. So he's trying to tell you about his personality and shit like that, whether he's interested in her or not, right? I'm just saying outside of that, he's trying to display his personality so you don't, quote unquote, treat him different in terms of like, look, man, I fuck with my Riverside family, but I ain't really all the way there with them. You know what I mean? I really fuck with Southeast. But even still, he's probably gotten a lot of referrals over his lifetime because of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, if my girl and she's beautiful and I'm like, this is her introduction to white men, I wouldn't suggest somebody that I didn't think, could hang and could match. And
Looking
you know
at
what I
her
mean?
though, she looks like the type that would, and I don't know how else to explain that. Don't ask me to explain it, but I'm saying
Would
that
what?
like, fuck, that sounds so crazy. to
I'm
say.
like,
I gotta fix it though. I just feel like there is a type of woman, if you just look at aesthetic and made a judgment, right? I feel like there's some that are more open to having relationships with men outside of white men
okay.
or men outside of their race.
Okay.
Right? Because what I hear from a lot of black women is over time was that, black men aren't checking for us and all these other things, right? But I also feel like black men are more open across the spectrum. Africans, us, that's already living here, right? San Diego, San Diegan black men. But the difference is the black men, like in Texas, Georgia, and all that, there's a specific type of black woman they go after, right? And I don't see that type of black women out here in abundance. There's a few out here. I'd be crazy to say that there isn't, but a lot of them are wifed up. So there was a person that we had on this pod that used to talk about that all the time from the experience of a black woman. So y'all don't think I'm saying this crazy, but would say like, oh, I need to get up out of here because San Diego men don't appreciate me like that. You know, if I go to down south or whatever, they appreciate me a little differently.
I feel that.
Went down there and had some successes and stuff like that. But at the same time, had a culture shock because how we live and how they live is completely different. How they dress, they hoods, the whole thing, they foods and shit, how they get along with family, it's just completely different. And to me, it's eye-opening to see that, yo, you might be wishing for this one thing, but then if you go on the other side, it's going to be completely different from what you're looking for. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I feel like the black men here are really checking for black women like that, right? I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, nah, you know, you got to give it an opportunity because I know of people, I have people that I associate with that have made dumbass comments. I know my wife is Mexican. Right, but I've also tried going after these same black women in the back of the day, and they wouldn't give me that chance. I'm not 6'4". I'm not the athletic, you know. I'm not looking like Morris Chestnut back in early 2000s and shit. So it was like, yo, I loved who loved me back. So yeah, not saying it, and don't say it. Yeah.
It was
I love my wife. She's amazing.
No.
But sometimes that comes up. You know what I mean?
That all to me was like, I loved someone who loved me back. It was like a romantic not like a pity all.
That's my answer when I'm saying, well, why don't you date white women? So I like who like me.
Yeah. Have you dated a white girl?
One.
That was a quick one.
It was a quick one.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that.
But that's not your go-to, huh? Like if you had, okay, let's have fun. I said we were going to have fun today,
Let's
right?
do it.
Porn search.
Porn search.
Where do white women come up in your porn search?
On accident.
I will say this, and I'm gonna run away from it, and I'm gonna ask you how your day is going. But you looking up BBC is kind of crazy. I know. Don't answer. How's your week been going? Don't worry about it. I just wanted to get that off real quick. It does sound kind of crazy, but it's funny as hell.
I haven't watched porn in an extremely long time. Am I weird?
You better than me.
No, I think that's...
Because I feel like, I don't know if people ever retire from it, but I found myself pretty retired from it for a while.
I guess it depends on like how much time you got.
Maybe that's what it is, but no, because I feel like there's people busier than me that make sure.
Doesn't take long.
They find
Are y'all open with y'all people about it?
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
We
felt like-
watched it together.
Oh, see, there you go. That's fine.
Yeah,
We've caught each other watching it.
used to do that.
I'm like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I think that's a normal thing. Like sometimes, let's be real too. Like I feel like after I said I was gonna ask you about how your day, but I say that like, yo, it's just a normal thing because after a while, like shit, man, like 8, 10, 15, 20, 30, 45 years of straight marriage, you got to do some shit to spice it up a little bit. So yeah,
and just get things going.
Yeah, I try to do something crazy. Like every time we go do something, I try to do something new.
Ooh.
I don't know what it is.
Okay.
It just comes up spur of the moment. I'm not gonna share that because I know how my
Give
wife
us
is.
one.
And
He
shit
a
like
fan.
that.
He a fan.
Maybe. Okay,
That's why he stay his ass inside.
Maybe I'll open up the curtains when we out on vacation. Who knows what kind of wild shit Carl may come up with. This is off the top of the head, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead, Lex. How you been? Don't worry about it.
I don't think you guys even addressed my question. You said, "No."
What was your question?
Am I weird? It sounds like I'm weird.
No,
I
I don't
just
think you're
feel
weird
like
at
you're busy.
all. I think I think it's like healthy, or it's good. Porn, they say it does certain things to your
Look at Kurt
brain
Franklin.
and blah 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 blah. So I mean, we should all maybe strive to watch less and less, and eventually maybe no porn.
It's not even
But no porn
about less.
shame.
It's just I haven't watched it at all.
I feel like
Do you, Matt? Well, are we going there? Like, what do you do when you self
Do you
pleasure
relieve yourself?
Not like I used to.
All right. Do you feel like you're too tired?
Maybe I'm slowing down.
No,
Okay. Here's the other
Different
piece.
seasons.
Though. I would feel like it was a problem for me if it interrupted like me and my wife's sex life. Like if I enjoy that more than being with her,
Yeah.
that would be problematic.
Or if it's like a regular, you know what I mean, like every day, you know, I'm like,
I feel better like if she's telling me now I'm a little tired and I know that you just had a long day and it's not a lie. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. You good. You know, whatever. Like sometimes that shit is energy. I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
I felt like even what we talked about
For
last
real.
week. I got what you were saying, but that's why I said sometimes a hot pocket cool because like the way my hips is set up from like playing golf and going to the gym and shit, I may not have a full 45 minutes of like, hey man, let me give you everything you want and deserve, because my move goal on my watch is ticking. like it's been pounding.
I got a solid 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
7 is golden too. Like 7 is a long time. You ever did a 7-minute speech? By yourself with index cards? It's a long time, yo. It's a very long time.
Shoot.
Lex, how you been, man? I know, 4th time is the charm.
I was trying to get rid of it. Nah, I'm cool, man.
We had fun in the beginning, so you can dark us out if you need to.
No,
Dark night.
If I'm holding the kid shit for later, there ain't a whole bunch to say.
All right.
My week just be my week.
That was it? I ain't mad at that. All right, let's go ahead. Hit my hand claps in. We'll have fun. Shit, and we over here, that took 32 minutes to get to anyway.
Oh my God, we're chaotic today.
Actually, it ain't going to be that bad, but
What?
not the time, because we spent a lot of time on the front half before the
Yeah.
music. This week in music, Big Sean released an album. I'm not expecting anyone to listen to it or have listened to it. Not sure if you did. I know he didn't because he's always like a couple of weeks behind.
But I love Big Sean.
I'll get to it
I didn't
tomorrow.
know he had. Yeah, I'll have to listen. to it.
What brought me here? Well, let me give Sean his credit. I think it's 21 tracks on the album, 22.
Wow.
The last 8 or 9 songs, I felt like he could have put some of them on the front end and cut a lot of shit out. And definitely gave us a 13 or 14 song project. And I would have said that this was an amazing album if he would have stuck with like the Charlie Wilson feature. The Gunna feature was really nice on there too. I made a comment that I think Gunna is the only person I can think of in recent times to beat being a snitch, quote unquote, because that's like one of the worst things in rap, and still make music. And people say, you know what? This shit kind of fire, even though he did what he did. It's almost like that R. Kelly treatment, because I'm starting to notice, no offense, right? Looking into the comment section, that there is a subsection of people that like really feel that way about people making mistakes and letting them go. I still don't play his music. I wish I could. I saw a funny meme about him doing a pretend Tiny Desk. You saw that? And I was like, yo, this shit would be fire, but I can't watch it. You know what I mean? And they not going to the local, federal facility to go do it. Back on Big Sean. What had me on this Big Sean topic is that I do love the album, especially since we haven't heard from him in a while. But Lex said something that I've been running through all my circles the last 2 weeks. And he tried to tell me and Zoe, right, off mic when Zoe was here, and I want to ask you, from a woman's point of view, would you prefer to hear Wale
Oh, don't ask women.
or Big Sean? No, this is perfect person. These are the perfect people.
I'm
to ask.
definitely mopping y'all then.
No.
I used to bump both of them like in my
And Wale
early
speaks
20s
to women.
regularly.
Exactly.
I feel like I would need to go back and listen to both of them
We got Lotus Flower
freshly.
Bomb. Lotus Flower Bomb. Firefly.
Okay.
Jamie
I don't know. This one's hard.
Flower Bomb. Yeah.
Okay, let me come down.
Then we
Get
got No
excited.
Hands.
Yeah, you know what? I can't decide because Big Sean, for me, he's a staple in getting ready, getting out, getting turned up. Like, he reminds me of Mace, who was one of my first rappers, his flow style. So Mace was one of my, literally from childhood, my first rapper that I was like, oh, I like his flow. I like what he's saying. And Big Sean always reminded me of him, so I've always been drawn to him. He has a lot of cool R&B women features. But then Wale, I'm cleaning the house, I'm getting ready to him, I'm fucking to him, he's
Like some incense.
yeah, you know what? It might be in a certain time period, it might be Wale actually. He might got more of a play just because,
I'm not mad at
Yeah,
that.
but I do-
Everyone seems to be divided. It's 50-50 no
but I
matter
don't
where
know.
I go.
Yeah, that's hard. What about? I'm curious.
He's ready to jump out
Big
the
Sean,
bullpen.
I
I
would
can see it
assume.
in his face right now about his argument.
Uh-oh.
No, it had nothing to do with my preference. I'm just saying, objectively speaking, Wale is better than Big Sean in almost all facets of rap.
That's so crazy to me.
He raps better than him.
No.
On Rappity Rap, yes, he does.
No.
He makes better women music.
No.
Women music.
I say
Wow.
he should. See, my argument
You're real
is
sexist today. Huh?
he makes better.
You know what I'm talking about.
Well, the ones that get
no,
the,
what's women music? I'm
I understand
curious.
what
Music
he's
for the
saying.
ladies.
Yeah, music for the ladies. You got to say it like
I'm
that,
just-
though.
I'm
Yeah.
I
just-
don't
fucking
even
with
know
him.
why I said women music.
Yeah, I know.
I
That
just
does
not
sound
a
I'm
good
glad
sound.
he corrected you.
We could
Yeah.
have said it a little, you know.
Music for the ladies
He
is
makes
fire.
women bitches music. He caters to bitches. By the way, you know, the other day Lex almost referred to women as bitches. He caught himself on the playback. He was like,
shit.
some bitch women. I was like, look at my slut.
Term of endearment. I would never say that
Oh, shit.
specifically to a woman.
No. I wasn't tripping at all. It was funny.
Oh, shit. That was funny as
and
hell.
if you used
he
it
likes
appropriately,
bitches.
I don't think I.
I can't agree with. I feel like Wale has. I mean, Big Sean has better punchlines. I feel like Wale is featured on a lot of these tracks that you're talking about versus
I
them
don't
being
fuck
his own.
with you.
Come on,
Oh,
man.
dang.
Come on.
Okay, hold on.
Because even the Waka Flocka one, that's not his shit.
Okay, but most of Big Sean shit is not his shit.
She just gave you. I don't
Gave
fuck
you-
with you.
Okay.
There's a few more on there. I can't think of the rest off the
I
top of
know,
my
I
head.
can't
either.
You have the phone in front of
But
you
the
right
big,
now.
but okay, if I'm thinking of Sean, you thinking of like Mercy, right? You thinking of Click. You thinking of shit that he's featured on.
What's the one?
And I enjoyed his verses. I feel like
I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying those wouldn't be the songs I would play if I'm doing him in a verse.
What's the song? I think he's like singing about his grandmother, and he has a line in there.
One
when
man
he-
can change the world.
Yes, I love. I fucking
one
knew you
man
would know
can't
that.
change the world.
I love that song.
Let's not get Wale
he
out
has
of
that,
here.
He has that
I'm
line
not saying
about
it
like
is.
Kim Kardashian and then selling yayo and oh,
Wale has a better
he is
discography.
clever. A Big Sean. Oh man.
Yes.
One through because there's only here's the thing. With Big Sean, there's one you can get out of here. I think it's like the Toyota one or whatever. Like what's that shit? The one with the multicolored artwork on the fronts, like purple and like a teal green or whatever.
I decided.
Whatever his second official project was.
Hall of Fame.
I have to see the cover of
Yeah.
it. But,
The
but it's the
second
one that
one's
says Toyota Music or some shit like that. What is that one?
Toyota music.
I can't remember. I got to pull it up. Either way, you can get that Big Sean album the fuck out of here. But all the other ones, even including this one, like his flips, I think they're even better.
Okay.
I'm playing both of them all week. That's all I know.
Hey, I'm not gonna change your mind with all this. I just wanted to.
I listen
highlight
to
that
Big
conversation.
Sean.
You
I-
listen
I'm-
No, I know you do. I just wanted to argue who was better, and I
Yeah.
think we're resting with.
And
he
I just
thinks
bought my
Wale-
Wale tickets yesterday, so I'm.
And here's the thing. It sounds like I'm a Wale hater, but I'm not. I went and seen him in
I
North Park
wanna
when he
see
came here.
him.
Like I've done that. Big
I've
Sean,
seen
I'm
him-
going to see.
I've
him
seen
too.
both of them too. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Chula Vista amphitheater.
With J. Cole.
Yeah, this is all hindsight with them being older now, where it's like, yo, which one do I like the most out
So
of the both?
fun.
You know what I mean? All this is hindsight talk. Because neither one of them, well, you can argue Sean is now, but I kind of do miss Wale. I seen that,
Yeah.
Usher brought him out at his concert in D.C. Looked like he put on a little bit of I'm happy weight, which is good, and I was excited for him. But at the same token, it's like, damn, bro, give us some music. Like, I
Yeah.
remember him saying he was going into hiding 3 years ago, and look how much time has passed by now. So, and the music game has changed, so he probably won't get it. We won't
Has
get it.
Wale released? Because you said Big Sean released a new album. What's Wale's most recent project?
They've been showing snippets that he's got music coming out, but music is so nasty right now that there's no money in it. So it's like whatever his other ventures are, just continue to do those things. I mean, I don't. With streaming the way it is, an artist not making music, you make like 14 cents per listen. It's like, is it
Did
even
you
worth
hear
coming out here?
Snoop's little not rant but advocacy on that whole thing?
No, what did Snoop do?
Did you hear it?
That's why he didn't have all his like death row shit on streaming for a while, because he's like,
He was just advocating for he was like
People to buy
for
a pair of album sales.
well, and for artists and new artists and labor deals. And he was like, back in the day, I cut a deal, I sell so many records, I get a percentage, I get this much up front, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, and now with all these streaming, he was like, it's even harder for new artists to make any money because this, and that. And he was like, we need to find a solution. Like, we can't just keep letting artists and new artists get fucked and not be paid what they're deserved.
The problem is artists, right? Because they're gonna go out and take deals or do things on their own. Like that's one of the problems, I would say. People would make their record label fight and shit like that. But I argue now in this era, you don't need a producer to do this podcast, right? You don't need a record label to get your music out there. You just have to make good music And hopefully, I mean, yeah, you got to blame the streaming platforms, but they're going to make the money no matter what, you know. They get us on these subscription-based
They
services and
boycott
shit
or
like
something.
that.
But I think that's kind of like what Snoop Dogg was saying, kind of like a call to action. Like, we got to figure something out. We can't just let the streaming services keep, fucking us. We got to, like, figure out a way to get some leverage and make some coin back.
The only one that has the money to help out that's still for the artist is Jay-Z. He tried Tidal, you know what I mean? But like everyone,
What happened with that? He sold it or something?
Yeah, he sold it, I believe.
Who did he sell it to?
The white man.
Which one?
That's the only one that can afford it. Which one? The one that pushes the button behind the screen. That's the one. That was my only rant. Check out the Big Sean album. I do enjoy the first half of it. I think it's
What's
amazing.
your favorite song?
The song with Charlie Wilson, and then also Apologize. He's always good with a good Charlie Wilson feature
I love Charlie Wilson.
So as much I get what Lex is
Can
saying.
you play it, please? A little bit of it. Can we do that?
Yeah, go ahead. I just got to do a little bit of editing. It's all good.
I
No,
just
don't
want to
worry
hear
about
a little
it.
snippet of the because that's my guy.
I feel like, and Charlie just sound like he don't really age, like voice wise.
No,
because Charlie got to be what, like high 70s.
He was just in concert. I saw a bunch of people posting him. He sounded good.
Yeah, he still be, because some of these
And
acts
he
when they
be
get
in it.
80, 85. Turn it up a little bit. There it is. See, I'm telling you, your boy different. The beat is just like a nice mellow Sunday.
Wale wouldn't.
No.
Come on.
There's a line in here that he
I want to
said.
hear the chorus.
Boy said, I'm so solid, I'm friends with The Rock. Like,
Dude, I love his ad libs.
that's fire.
His
That's not good.
analogies.
That's a fireball.
His fucking analogies. I only,
Come on, man.
What do you say? I only ever fell back,
Back,
not
never
all.
fell off.
I only fell back, never all. Ooh. Cycle. A cycle.
That shit hard. All right, cut it right
I'm
there.
on a different style.
I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm trying to tell. No, Wale. I will admit, Wale will give you some shit like that, right? But Sean just hit different, and maybe because Sean hits a soulful piece to me. Put it like this: Sean came up under the umbrella of Kanye West. I love Kanye West's soul beats, right? And obviously, Big Sean got the stimulus package of getting some of that Kanye work earlier on, and maybe that's where my affinity comes. No one beats Kanye in making those types of beats.
He didn't get a lot of soul sample Kanye.
Not a lot, but he got enough for me to be like, yo, I fuck with this guy. Have you heard of Doechii?
Yes.
Or Doshi? Or whatever?
Oh.
So I heard her, C sent me her project the other day, and I went through it, and I was like, you know what? There's something missing from this. Like she's a top dog artist, a top dog being like Kendrick Lamar, Absol, all them,
Got
like
it.
under that umbrella. And I was like, yo, like the way SZA hit me, the way Isaiah Rashad hit me when I first listened to him, and the types of beats they were choosing, and the way that they were coming across on that, there's a feeling that I'm missing with her music. And I feel that same way with a lot of these young kids' music now. So much so that my homie was telling me that he went to the club this week, and I was like, yo, what they play? A lot of bullshit? He's like, nah, they actually played a bunch of like old shit
Yeah,
from
same.
back in the day.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, because the music they make now, you can't really get rocking to. That's one of my biggest fears, is going into the club and just sitting there for an hour and a half, like not
Yeah.
being able to relate to people.
Well, yeah. and
So when you said the Maverick shit, I
well,
agree.
you got to be picky though, and at first when we walked in, we came in at the right time, so it just started amping up, and I thought it was just the music playing. Then all of a sudden, I love a live DJ. I'm like, I listen to the little mixes and like I'm listening for the skill, and so I was like, hold up, this ain't no fucking like playlist.
Yeah, right.
And so he was far in the back, so I got on the fucking bar. I was like looking, and I could see, and I was like, okay. And as the night progressed, I was like, okay, dog, like you making me feel some type of way.
Right. I'm having a good time right
And
now.
my ass was ready. But as
That's
soon as
music
my
for the
homegirl
ladies
was
right
ready,
there. That's what he was referring to female music.
It was a good mix of R&B, hip hop, pop, yin yang trends. It was finally when she was ready, I was like, you said the words.
Oh, you
Let's
just
go.
said something right now. Pop. Yo, you like any rock songs?
Oh, I want to talk about that. I like Linkin Park. I like some Nirvana.
That's still telling us the time period you from. Keep going, man. That's cool.
What's the chick?
Pink?
Paramount?
Paramount. I wouldn't put Pink as rock. I mean, I guess that's probably as rock.
Fuck me up that she started off as R&B. I found that out.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Pink
Yeah.
can sing.
Like
Like,
R&B artists back
yeah.
then sing too,
I
though.
think
That
she-
was the thing.
Yeah, she can flow.
She had a crazy rebrand.
I don't know if you would consider Maroon 5 as rock.
I don't know what you would. I
Yeah,
still
but that's
fuck with
probably as like, What
it.
about
Any
you?
rock for you?
Soft rock.
Yeah, which one though? I
Kixie 96.5. I grew up on that.
I'll put that on
Oh yeah,
occasionally.
because yeah.
Filling
yeah,
commercial
Yeah.
time.
The Boots was killing me the last time I saw her. With the jean combo, I said, oh yeah, she definitely been in a few dive bars in her day. She was out there, man. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Go ahead and hit my hand claps, man. That's funny. I'm glad we got a chance to talk about that because I wanted to get that shit off.
Wait. Do you listen to rock?
Yeah, so the other day I yesterday I put on the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, I like them too.
So, like-
Hella like them, yeah.
I was on the golf course, very culturally appropriate
that's
place
cool.
for them, for me to play that, because sometimes I be killing it with hip hop.
Oh,
But I was
okay.
like, you know what? I kind of want to hear some Red Hot Chili. A lot of that shit, because we played Guitar Hero,
California.
right? Growing up, yeah. Them, System of the Down, I used to fuck with them very
Ooh,
tough.
I like them too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
P.O.D. Okay,
them
you're
too,
bringing
yeah.
Papa Roach.
Limp
Okay, there you
Bizkit,
go.
yeah, Papa Roach, like all them.
Oh, okay, we're getting low.
And I fuck with it. But no, but it's a good, because I feel like in this era right now, like I feel like everyone is forced to like hip hop or fucking like electronic music.
Yeah.
Right? And EDM and electronic music, it's just not my vibe. It's not
not
the
vibey.
place. I don't like the clothes that they be wearing there, which is none at all. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, like I just feel like
Which is none
it's
at
just
all.
none at all. It's not the shit for me. You know, just listening to beats all day, like I just can't do that.
Yeah, I can't. I can't.
And dudes work out to that shit. I'm like, bro, this is not getting me pumped.
There's
this
a
is
hella
like,
culture.
this is like, yo, I need to go to the bathroom. Music.
I literally, it's elevator.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to ask was if you guys started listening to K-pop. I watched, and things to watch, I'll talk later about a K-pop documentary.
Is that like
I
Korean?
meant. That's that Korean.
Yeah, I ain't never
but it's
got
like
into
a
that.
special, like kind of making the bands, like there's a science to it. And I had never got into it either. I thought it was for kids and young girls and like, a certain population. And so I
That
watched.
third one, I'm with you. Yeah.
I watched the documentary and I was like, okay, but they do a K-pop hour on one of the radio stations, maybe 95.7 or 933. They do a certain hour where they just do K-pop, and especially there was a new K-pop song called Curious or something with this new artist out called Cat's Eye, and that shit, I was like, hold on. I started moving and it reminded me of like that boy band, girl band era with like a nice pop but a good R&B, and it's very engineered. Like they're literally taking a science of building the perfect band, and you can feel it. And so I was like, we might be sleeping on K-pop, if you want to call girl music. Like
I'm gonna stay tired though. I can't do it. I ain't gonna even front with you. I ain't gonna even lie. What's that big group that came out of there?
The one
BTS.
Yeah, BTS. Yeah, that's
so
the
they
one.
took the producers, the choreographers, the even the back people. They put the most money behind this new girl group to basically manufacture and create a girl version of BTS. That's the Cat's Eye. And
You gonna have to send me a few songs, and
I will.
and I'll let you know my honest opinion.
and then I'll have to send your wife a few songs. I want her opinion.
She
on it.
very R&B.
You guys have to listen at the same
I'm gonna
time.
listen to it. Yeah. I'm gonna do it. I'll do it just for you.
Thank you.
Just for you.
You too, please.
So random shit to fill in time. Lex has in here that the national average for a single person to live comfortably is $93,000 annually. That's $7,827, and because I'm dealing with Lex, and 75 cents annually. This is wild, folks. If you're a single adult to live comfortably, you need $94,432. And then two working adults, with two children, you need $209,498. Now, I remember back in the day, they gave this stat about 20-something years ago. They said that you need to make over a course of 18 years, it would cost you $120,000 to have kids. Mm-hmm. Looking at this number right now, I don't know what they're factoring in. If this is like by buying a house, if it's renting and stuff like that. I would argue now that renting is cheaper than actually owning a house at this current time. It's just that the type of space you're going to have isn't the same.
Not in. I wouldn't say necessarily out of San Diego. Maybe that's true for San Diego, but a lot of other places, it's still more.
It really
cost
depends where
efficient
you're
to
at.
have
It's always cheaper to rent.
regional,
Depending on where you're at.
Yeah, because they add on a bunch of shit. Yo, when
Wait, what do you mean? You guys are saying it's cheaper to rent?
No, it depends. No, you can't say it's cheaper to do one thing or the other. It depends
okay.
where you're at, and it's always.
I'm like, I
that.
have so many people that are constantly telling me that a mortgage is more affordable than renting, and that you're throwing away
the
money.
actual mortgage.
And when
yes.
we compare the rent to the mortgage, it's always less.
Right,
but there's more to the mortgage.
But mortgage,
PMI,
maintenance,
yeah. So
taxes.
That you're saying
that's usually factored in.
Fam, I just spent $200 on the termite guy, the wasp dude to knock a wasp thing from underneath my eaves.
Pussy.
Nah, I ain't getting up there. I'm good. And it's on the second story. Fuck that.
Break your neck.
So what happened is my wife called me Friday, long story less long, and she's panicking. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with her, right? It's 12 o'clock. It's a weird time for her to call me.
How dare you panic right now?
Well, because it didn't make no sense. You know, like when somebody call you with some shit that just stop you, and she's like, oh, I just got stung by a wasp. I'm like, where the fuck are you at? She's like, I'm in our room right now. I was like, what the fuck you mean there's a wasp in the
scary.
room?
I hate
so
wasps.
now I'm trying to figure out where the fuck they coming from. I had to leave work early, go find it. I found where the nest was, but now I'm trying to figure out the fuck he got in the house. But the wasp dude came and he was like, to knock him down, $240. I said, all you about to do is get on the ladder, put on that little special suit that's already paid for.
Hazard pay.
And knock this shit down.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, it is dangerous.
And it takes expertise that should be paid for.
Just shit on my shit. All right. Fuck, I'll give it to him. Yo,
because there's a lot of things I'm willing to do to avoid pain.
But if you had a wasp nest, what would you do now?
Shoot that shit with the hose?
No,
that's what I'm saying. I'm poor, and I've always been poor, so I try to do almost everything for free. I've changed.
But you live in a complex that somebody at least owns, right?
He owns it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
so
would
you
I
call
do?
him.
But I could call him.
Yeah. Call him and do that. That's
but if I had to pay for it myself, I would still pay for
deduct
myself.
it from my rent. You can do that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay.
It's whether he's gonna pay for it no matter what at some point. And that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, renting, depending on where you're at, he's right? Because it depends on the cost. I mean, the cost of what they're saying for each place. I mean, you go walk away. I'm talking to my neighbor right now. She was looking at places for like $2,100, $2,200, $2,300. Now they're not in the best places or whatever because she's trying to move out.
How big? Where?
Yeah, they were like 400 square feet. It's just her. You know what I mean? But
I'm like, okay, yeah. Let's be clear.
My brother-in-law got a spot. He paid $2,600. I'm not gonna tell you where you live at, but he got $2,600 out, and it's a new build, right? But it's a new build in a rough area, you know. So I was like, yo, but you could do it. Shit, I'd argue I live in a semi-rough neighborhood.
But this is, going back to this living comfortably, like. I'm like, man, we are going to go dark. This shit's depressing. Like, I'm like, my family, we make well under these things. And, we make well under these things. We don't live comfortably. We're scraped. I've shared before, we scrape by rob Peter to pay Paul, blah, blah, blah. And I think those numbers sound about right. And even, like, they sound even kind of low on the end to live comfortably living. To me, which maybe that we all have different standards, to me that's being able to pay whatever mortgage, rent on time, all of your bills on time, able to have toiletries, able to have groceries, able to handle a financial emergency, something breaking, replacing a phone, replacing a tire, being able to keep up maintenance on a house, on a car, having money in the bank, and then having money that you can do to entertain, and that money not taking from other places or having to super duper budget. So, like, to me, I would think you would need more to live at comfortable.
Average? It says national.
That's why you think it's low.
Because you're right.
We're pulling that number.
You're
up.
right.
There's a lot of the country that's bringing that number down.
And I'm trying to live where they are living.
But I think that
you're right, because I was thinking in the San Diego lens.
Yeah,
I'm like, that
San
ain't
Diego
enough.
would be higher than that.
That
do you feel like that's true? I
that's
don't
what
make
that number
this.
is saying.
Me and her together, we don't clear that.
The single or
this number.
I know, but you're also your biggest expense is your housing. Your housing isn't in $2024 because you bought it in a different time.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're talking about.
Okay,
They're
if you
talking
say it
about
like that,
now.
that makes sense then.
And yeah.
Talking about right now, if you were to go house shopping right now
And buy a house.
and
That's
start
how much.
for like your brand new family and you want to start from scratch, this is what you need.
But this is what, and we've had this type of argument before. This is why I tell people why I lived at home originally to start out.
Yeah.
I stay here 5 years, right? And I feel like you said something early in the pod to me that made the most sense, where it's like, yo, there's people coming here from other countries that are biting the bullet in the beginning, and some of them make it through and make a little bit of cash. Any dude that I've ever met, like, for example, where I go to the gym at is in an area where you run into, like, people from the Middle East and those areas and stuff like that. They stick together. They work on shit together. They open businesses together.
Exactly.
Right? Within our own community, as in black people, right? We don't be fucking doing that shit. Right? Matter of fact, we used to. I don't know if the young kids is doing this now, but at least in my generation, they make fun of you for not, like living on your own, paying all your bills and shit. I argued back then. I was like, yo, man, that shit overrated. I'm going to live at home. Any girl that I'm messing with, you know, if she really fuck with me or whatever and fuck with what I'm saying or whatever, they going to understand that your time is going to come. Our time is going to come.
But what I've learned from my experience of, you know, obviously having a husband who lives in a different culture, having friends that come from different, you know, continents. But like, is that it's not necessarily just black culture, it's American cultures. In other parts of the world and other cultures, even here in America, but within those cultures of like Asian, Latino, Middle Eastern, like they even like African from Africa, they encourage staying within the house until you're married and to save money and you find families. But for some reason, it's the American culture that has this idea at 18 you're supposed to be out, you're supposed to be independent. So that's why society here in America, we have that expectation and we talk down and shame and shit on people when they, you know, decide to take a route and that requires them to live at home or stay with somebody. In other parts of the world, that's completely normal. And you actually are looked at as weird if you decide to, or in your family's encouraging you to stay home and support one another. And like you said, also when immigrants and people that are not documented, wherever they end up in a place, they migrate towards each other and they do as friends support each other and network and try to build each other up. But I think that's because of the upbringings they had within their family, you know, whereas like it's also looked down if you stay with a friend around here and that. So, you know, I think it's not black culture, it's American culture.
I know, and that shit pissed me off a little bit right when you said it, because I thought about it, not what you said
I was like,
specifically. I thought about something else. Because like I be talking to people of the same ethnicity as me. And I be feeling like, yo, like the City Heights, like people over there, they don't really fuck with us. Like they be getting their shit off, right? It is something to be said about what you're saying. But it's like, yo, we all black. I'm just a stolen black. Like whoever your people had like 500 years ago that got away when they was collecting us and rounding us up, yo, man,
I'm just a stolen
I'm a stolen black. You know what I mean? But they be treating us different.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And it's because we have different privileges. My husband, you
I
know,
don't even see that privilege. That's the fucked up part.
But American privilege is real. You know,
this is where the black job argument with Trump came from.
Yeah,
like what the fuck is he talking about black jobs? Like I like yo, the black job is like spread out between different things. And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. I'm saying this to be honest, right? We would see someone like your husband if he got his business up and running and shit like that. Hindsight later on, right? Like I won't have any hindsight there. I look at him and be like, damn, somebody fucked around and gave him a loan before they gave any one of us a loan. That is the first thing that we default to, not knowing what struggle they probably went through before they even got there.
I literally hit when I saw that an article, and I didn't go in depth about Newsom supposedly making grants, 150,000 grants for undocumented immigrants or something like that. I hear different, I've read different buzz lines and those different policies that you hear and those different, what I call it, like, you know, buzzwords, triggers, like, and it's really truly like kind of spreading false information or misleading information or nitpicking at only certain things. But I hit somebody else when they were trying to share. I said, where's the money? Let me know. Let me know. You guys keep saying, I'm like, my husband receives no type of benefits. Me and my kids, we do. But nothing for my husband. He's not on any paperwork that I use to require assistance as far as like EBT and WIC and things of that nature. Because as far as like him wanting to get his status change, if you're getting those resources, it can affect, our lawyer told us, your status change, and we just haven't found those opportunities. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what? And if they're out there, send them to me. If you know how my husband can get $150,000 loan to start his business, please send it. Like, because these things, I'm like, how factual are they versus like what is like just being thrown out there and it's misleading is, I think, my point, you know, because like you said, you would assume, you'd be like, this motherfucker. And it's like, nah, what you don't know is that we went without and we decided to make literally decisions on not paying this and paying this to take this opportunity to hope that it goes and works out. And you're over here thinking that motherfuckers are getting free hands. Let me tell you, if we were getting free hands, we wouldn't have ended up homeless. Like, so I just really need people to do research and look into what is being thrown out there so they can truly understand the different benefits. And then also go ahead and look at the benefits that wealthy, rich people get. And let's not forget that, what kind of loans they're getting, what kind of tax rights they're getting before we villainize a population and then use that to get into office. So
I want to argue what you said too, credible research, because Lex got a friend that to do their research. And
you gotta check the source. You have to source check.
Does she think I got beef with her? You haven't talked to her.
I don't think if it's real.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure because I haven't heard from her in a minute.
Yeah, that's the number one thing. You gotta do a little digging. You gotta look at dates too.
You gotta hear the other side of the argument too. Yeah. And that's where I be having beef with that person. I'm like, yo, just try the other side first before you just start saying no. Lex, where you fall on this? You know what? As somebody who, how much we gonna delve, right? So as somebody who, made their way through and maneuvered through like the things right now, right? And obviously you're in a rebuilding phase and like putting your ducks back in a row. Do you think it's attainable for you to go back out in this economy, buy a house and shit like that?
No.
Even with your great credit and being able to use that credit to leverage loans and whatever money you would need. Like, you really don't think that realistically you could walk into a bank right now, acquire the things that you needed to purchase a home?
No, not here.
Okay. But other places possibly?
I mean, that was one of the things I struggled with at the top of the year when we got rid of the house. It's like, oh, I'm not going to. And I've never said this in my life. I've always been like, and maybe I'll get there one day when I get like this mental block change. But like, I was trying to be like, just not even on some depression shit. It was more like, let me be a realist. Mm-hmm. I might not ever own a house again. And that's me saying it. And if I'm saying it,
I'm fucked.
I'm taking the empathy that I feel for other people.
Good
because
Lord.
I know what I'm doing.
And
it's not my first rodeo.
I ain't got a clue.
And I would think when it comes to the stuff required to do, the sacrifice, the delayed gratification, all that, I'm comfortable saying that I'm better than the average person at doing those things. And even with doing those things and optimizing my budget, lowering my expenses, and doing everything I've always done, I still can't do it.
You can get us dark. That is, to hear you say all that is terrifying, because I'm my circumstance and my position, and to hear you say that you have no hope, I'm like, I need to make an appointment with my therapist.
But this is also like,
that's crazy.
And I'm speaking for the average man who works 9 to 5 and doesn't do anything on the side. Now, obviously, if you can get some stuff moving and shaking on the side, you might be able to get it done.
Well, that's the hustle culture.
It's not going to be pleasant.
Yeah.
And the fact is like, there's articles written about how like the Gen X and like half of the baby boomers, that's where it stops. Everybody after that is not buying no houses. Half of millennials, Gen Z, whoever the new one is under them.
That's so wild to me, because everybody, most, and I know a lot of people that are, in better financial situations than I am. Almost everyone I know owns their houses.
But when they get in.
And Yeah.
I feel like I got in right at
And
the
but
cutoff.
I'm still finding my Nina's a real estate agent. She's still, there's houses she's selling. Like I feel like
Oh yeah,
there's
people
still
will buy them, but it's more like people are being like, you're looking at gentrification, right? You're looking at the types of jobs that, like, this is a desirable city to where the city's gonna be filled up because
that's why
there's
rent
1%
is so high.
everywhere. They're gonna want to come here. It's gonna push everybody east, and it's gonna push everybody. There's a lot of people living in TJ now.
Yeah, I've considered that.
There's people doing long commutes from the IE or wherever else,
Yep.
and even the IE is expensive now.
Yep.
And then you got just since the pandemic, the cost, I forgot what the number was, but it was like 80% more. The cost of owning a home has grown 80% in just 3.5 years.
Yeah, even the materials.
This
are
is
expensive.
depressing.
Like,
I want to change
that.
that.
You can't do that. And I'm all for the free market and all that other shit, but like, just being I'm not sitting here like, oh, this isn't fair. I do all this sacrifice. I should be able to own a home. I'm not even coming from that.
No, I didn't.
I'm
think
just
like that.
answering a question. Like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah, and to me it's wild because it's like I'm as a homeowner, like someone who's been a homeowner and just has that experience, and you're like, one, you guys are telling me that it's cheaper to potentially rent than own, which is just wild to me from just my life experiences and people I know in the gutter. And then so it's like homeowners or people that are even in the position to potentially, they're feeling like they can't buy homes. They're feeling like, it's more expensive to own a home. And then renters, like who have been in my position, we can barely afford our rent. Because San Diego is in high demand and there's low, space availability, and we can't afford it. It's like everybody is in this position of feeling from a place, at least in San Diego, feeling from a place of lack. And
there's
that's
one
like,
thing you forgot.
What's the alternative?
The one thing you forgot too that he
That's
didn't
why I'm
bring
owning
up
an RV.
is that he was in this little spill too, but he was building a new development at the time. But these investment companies or investment groups also make it difficult. So if you find you a spot, let's say National City, Paradise Hills, or whatever, that's not modeled up or nothing like that, you're gonna get outbid. And the reason why you're gonna get outbid is because no one's gonna listen to your sob story of, hey man, I ain't never owned a home. This is the first one with my kids and all that. Right, I remember because when we was house shopping, the reason why I say that, one of them wanted us to write a letter of why we deserved that home. Ain't nobody doing that shit no more, right?
Yeah, well,
but what I'm saying is people are buying cash for these houses.
Exactly.
And you can't compete with cash. That's so hard to do.
And the same with the rent. They're
Because
like
imagine
coming
if you
in.
lived here for 25 years and it's just too expensive. The gas, all the events and shit is too expensive. I'm moving to Arizona.
That's where
That's
we're
not-
at
You're not
now.
waiting on.
that's not all the way true though.
That's a part of a problem.
I've sold multiple houses and not taken the cash offer.
Yes, but how many Lexus do we run into? That's
But
like
no, but let me
you
tell
got a
you.
great heart.
Let me tell you, it's not just that. This is a big military town. I know a lot of people, cash or not, because investment firms and Chinese money is coming in. They are buying up single family homes, and that does make it a little more difficult. But I've never met a military landlord that didn't help out their own. They only rent, they only sell to other military.
That excludes all
Now
of
that
us.
excludes us, true. But I'm saying they won't sell to the company. That's one thing.
But you're talking about like
And I
a
know
specific
the
niche group of people.
and I'm not saying I was trying to help somebody out. I was going for, because usually the cash offer is less overall money, and I was like, I don't need the cash. I got a little extra time. I'll wait an extra 30 days for the bigger loan.
Most
for the
people
big-
don't have
for the
that
bigger-
wherewithal that you
for the
have.
bigger money. And so when I sold my last house, I was like, hell no, I'm not taking the cash. Like, all I gotta do is wait 30 more days and I can make 40 grand more. Like, yes, I'm gonna do that. And I was able to do that.
Who explained that to you?
Nobody
So you think if you didn't know that, would your realtor have told you that?
told me which part.
That if you waited 30 days, you would have got $40,000 more.
Maybe.
And that's what I'm saying. Not everyone has your wherewithal. No, because some of these realtors, you don't need nothing but to pass the test.
No, but I'm saying if I'm looking at the offers and this one is 40 grand less, but it's cash, then I'm just like, okay, so that just means I can close in 5 days or I close in 35 days. I can wait 30 days.
You have a lot of faith in humanity based on
No,
that.
the risk in not
'Cause we
taking
don't
cash
live
is you got to put it back on the market because they don't come through. That is a risk. And that's why you get more money for taking that risk.
Right.
So if I'm looking at your profile, Like, all right, cool. You a nurse, you making 120, you got this and that, then I'm cool with that. Now, if I was starting over, I mean, I kind of am starting over, but different circumstances. It was, if I was single and didn't have no kids, I would be buying houses and renting out all the rooms to help pretty much get it to where I can live as close to free as possible.
And that's exactly why there's so much homelessness in San Diego, because that's exactly what everybody's doing. They're buying all the houses. They're, like I said, their population is higher than what's available. They're jacking up the rent. There's no rent control. People who have lived there their whole lives are, I mean, I'm not knocking you. That's the most capitalist best way, you know, to get your bang for your buck.
No, but it's even more
that's
like
what's happening here, and that's what's people are complaining about homelessness, and it's kind of like, well, how do we end? What are some solutions? And I don't know. Maybe that's one thing.
Well,
to consider.
It depends on which way you're looking at it.
Everyone,
Me, I'm looking at it like, hey, I can't afford this shit on my own, so I need help. So in turn, instead of me living in a house by myself and 3 other people have no place to stay, there is now 3 open rooms to fill that. Now, personally, now to take it back to where we was, I would rather not do it that way, but find other people in my situation that are within my circle, or at least no more than one step removed, and buy the house together. And we all stay there. We're all paying a portion of the mortgage. That way we have more discretionary income to save, so we can come up and then one of us can leave and go get another house.
Yeah.
And then we can do the whole rental journey or whatever.
But yeah, and then when that part to me is the part that like leads to homelessness, when you're just buying houses and renting them out, not living in them, to renting out rooms to be able to make your payment.
But what I'm saying is, if I buy a 3-bedroom house,
I know what you're saying,
and someone lives in it, it's not really contributing to homelessness because I'm providing a home for someone to live in.
If you're competing with, and you're hijacking the prices because you're competing with everybody else and you're using that leverage, you absolutely are.
But what do you mean? How am I hijacking?
Oh no, she's saying in a certain scenario of what she's seen that what people are doing, not you specifically.
Oh no, I'm talking about
Yeah, I guess.
I know. I get
when
you
you're
guys are saying 2 different things.
Yeah.
But also, I'm not saying you. When I'm just saying that
is what's happening.
No,
that's what's happening.
I don't know.
That's what's contributing.
I wouldn't
to
personally do
homelessness.
that, and I know that because I've had people live with me since been doing this pod, and I ain't charge them a thing. But that thing was like, yo, fix your, and I've said this, fix your credit, do all these other things or whatever, and then you can go ahead and dip on out of here. You know what I mean? And it's funny because my wife was talking about the other day. She was like, yo, I wish that individual was still here. It was kind of cool having them here. And I was like, oh, yeah, it was all right. Like, it was cool. I had somebody to talk to every night when you go to bed early and shit. But, other than that, like, kind of like walk around this house butt ass naked. So, that's my thing. Anybody got anything else on this? That's my thing.
No. I mean, I think roommate, especially here, is like, that's the way. To have roommates sometimes is the way we have to go.
That's scary because you know what? Fuck, I don't want to take us there right now because I feel like we're going to deep dive, but we can hit on this later. But I feel like a lot of people are staying in relationships because of that.
Absolutely.
I don't want to delve into that conversation, but I felt like because I heard another story over this last week, and I was like, yo, like. Seems like this person has enough information to leave out of the situation, but what's the one thing holding them back? Oh yeah, the housing market's fucked up for anybody, renters and owners.
And do I want to thug it out with this person or do I want to get a roommate?
I think about that shit. I always tell my wife like, "Oh, you keep the house." I was like, wait a minute, shit's changed a little bit. We might have to live together.
Separate quarters.
I'd be lying if I say I wasn't second guessing like my inheritance.
Well, you was sure.
Everything good? It's just coming by to say.
Can we talk about the arrangements again?
Yeah, her things ain't that special with the other one, but I'm cool right now. I just want to let you know.
Can we renegotiate?
That's funny. Go ahead and hit my hand claps, man. Hey, I'm so glad we got here early because in the back of my mind, I was like, damn, it's almost late, and I was like, yo, this is normally when we start, so that's a good thing.
And I think I'd be coming back to this neighborhood.
Hey, cool. We'll go take you with open arms. Read them in wheat. So I'm seeing a guy who I really like. A couple years back, I had unprotected sex, and in return, I got the herpes virus. I have learned my lesson. Of course you did. And I would never...
I hope.
Yeah. You can't get it twice, right? I would never
But you
have...
can spread it.
Absolutely. Oh, we're going to get there. And would never have unprotected sex ever again unless I'm dating someone who's fully aware of the situation. I would also never have sex with someone unless they knew about it. Anyways, back to this guy I'm seeing right now. Things have been going really well, and I see serious potential with him. My plan is not to tell him until the time comes where I sense sex is about to happen. The way I see it, I like to continue getting closer to him by saying before I say it. I think that if I told the people too soon, I wouldn't really be getting any opportunities to become romantically close with anyone. They would opt out before a deeper connection has been formed. My friend says that I'm just luring him in and that I should be upfront and honest with him from the start. She says that that he should know what he's getting himself into. But this is also something really personal, and I wouldn't want to tell this to someone unless I really trust them. So am I in the wrong for waiting until the last minute to share this with him? Now, I want you guys to say this from the lens of somebody who has the simplex virus.
Yeah, I
Number
know.
two.
I know a handful of people that do.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever...
Well,
I've only... You know what? That's,
I'm sure you know people. You just don't know they got it.
That's what's...
like I had an old roommate. I know some like family members. So yeah, herpes is actually very common.
On the genital, not on the mouth.
On the genitals.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who has mouth.
Okay.
Who do you want to answer first? I got a few different things to say.
I really think let's start with you.
You want to start with
spice
me?
shit up right out the gate. If you got things to say, I need to hear it.
Okay. Well,
Even with the disclosure you just hit with right now, that shit hit me. I thought I was a listener. Go ahead.
you know, okay. Well, you know, I have to be. It's so funny because when I first heard the story, I felt a little like judgment coming on. Like my first instincts, my first thoughts felt a little judgmental, and then I started to think of these different people. And my old roommate that I just shared, when she contracted this disease, we were living together at the time, and I even went with her. And when she was like, hey, there's something going on, I was like the one who she was like, bitch, look, you know, there's something not here. Is there or not?
Oh, you got something better than the Google
and
images.
So, right? And so, exactly. So I was like, yeah, we're going to go. So I ended up, supporting her and going with her to that appointment. And I knew the guy who, I used to like the guy who she got him from. And he low-key, we were, hanging out, and then he kind of swerved and went for my roommate. I mean...
He dodged the bullet.
What do they say? Whatever misses you, that's a blessing. Let me not. This is serious.
What based on just a better me than you?
Yeah, that's a real thing.
But yeah, and so then also, having family members that have disclosed that information, I think that one, we should not shame people for having different, STDs. That it is something that happens, and then especially when it's something that you're dealing with for life. So, like a herpes and AIDS, there has to be, these people still have to have autonomy. My gut instinct at first was like, what the fuck? You need to let people know immediately. And if it was me personally, I would disclose pretty quickly, just so I did give that person.
When?
I would probably say, because it also makes me think of my depression, my PTSD, things like that. I remember when I first got diagnosed, I was like, I could not imagine telling a man that, hey, by the way, I take antidepressants, I have had suicide attempts, I struggle with these thoughts, I become debilitated where I can't clean my house, I can't eat. I was like, how do I share with somebody that I struggle really, and how are they gonna want to still see me? And I had an experience. The first man that I ever told, he was so kind and accepted it well, but so it's hard to decide. And I didn't tell him right away. I probably told him after a few dates, but something that maybe affects your physical health and has the potential to affect somebody else, I would probably disclose, I would say, within that, after that first date. So like letting that introduction and then saying like, I want to let you know that, I do have this disease. I take the meds. It is maintained. I know healthy ways to be able to keep us both safe. There's times where it's active and it's spreadable. There's times where it's not. And I promise to blah, blah, blah. And let them decide, do you want to continue to get to know me? So where I'm going to flip is to say that someone has to, or that they're a bad person, or they're being misleading. If they don't disclose their health status, if they're transgender, if they don't disclose their, their original sex off the bat. Like, there's a lot of times that there's this idea or this conversation that people are being misleading or deceiving or trying to trick people, where it's that these are still people and these are serious personal things, as she says, and they still deserve some autonomy and they still deserve to decide when they want to share these things. But I do believe that people do need, in a healthy relationship, a sustainable relationship, clear, honest communication. And it is a conversation that should be had sooner than later. What I would hope is that, and what I want to encourage the guys and listeners is that if someone does disclose that information to you, and it wasn't as quickly as you maybe felt that they should have, that maybe you extend some grace and thank them, and then decide and not take it as like you were deceiving me, but that this was something really hard to share, and I appreciate you sharing it with me. And now I have the opportunity to consider it, to get educated, and then decide what I want to do to move forward.
How early you need to know?
I wish I went first. No, because I agree with what she says, but I was like, I would have had fun at first. This hoe was just trying to make someone fall in love with her, so it's so hard to say.
That's what it sounds like.
I know, but that's what she means, right? She means like, okay,
Not
it doesn't
fall in love
necessarily
with
mean...
her. She wants the opportunity to get to know somebody without being judged.
So
On the other end of the spectrum, the reason why I disagree with that, I need to know ahead of time, because that's part of you.
True, but...
Now, if I didn't have kids, and let's say that I wanted to have kids, my kids would be affected by that if you don't tell me that out the gate.
No, it's not out the gate, because you're not having kids out the gate.
You don't know that, but if I really like you in the beginning and you don't tell me that, that's a crushing blow to me.
Look, just because y'all got pregnant
Then maybe
on y'all
you should
first
be
date,
asking those questions.
just because y'all got pregnant
Maybe
on
you
the
should be
first
asking
date,
those questions.
don't mean that's not... So, yeah, okay, I'm not going to have fun no more.
No, we're having fun.
Have fun.
We're having fun.
No, because I generally agree with pretty much what you said. Obviously, I think there's a... If you're really reading into what she's saying, there's a timing. I don't think there's an actual science like, oh, third date, got to do this and that.
But there is
And
an
it's not
appropriate-
too... And so I'm thinking about me. So me trying to have fun was like, oh, you waited till I fell in love with you. You gonna tell me this shit? Because obviously...
That's what it is.
But
That's
first
not
of all,
what it
if
is. Stop framing it like
because
that.
if you're a grown man and you fall in love in 3 days, there's something wrong with you, right?
No, but let's
But-
be realistic.
but if
As
you
a
see-
man, we looking to hit within the first 3 or 4
Okay,
days.
and so if it's a fourth date and you've gotten to know her a little bit, I'm not in love with her, but hey, we vibing.
I forgot who I'm talking
She
to.
cool people. We've established a more connection where maybe I can look at it from a more empathetic.
Exactly.
Now I can also
Humanity.
decide like, you know what?
You can.
I don't know if I can do that.
Could you?
I don't think so. But I'm pretty ignorant on the subject though.
But it's not like
Let's say that
manipulation.
the emotional attachment is there. It sort of
Do you
is.
think that
Sorta
you think
is.
it's manipulative because you're like, well, you didn't say everything.
It can
so
be-
should you
If I
disclose
came
your
on
credit?
if I came
Should
out
you
on a date,
disclose-
right? Let's say that.
Okay, let me hear you.
Let's say hypothetically you go out a date on with somebody, right?
Okay.
And they have nice, beautiful hair.
Okay.
You know where I'm getting with this.
I can't stand you.
I said we were gonna have fun. I said I'm taking us back to fun.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So
Good.
you date
Good.
somebody that got nice, beautiful flowing hair.
Okay.
Right? Week 3, they like, whew, I'm glad you like me. I can take this fucking wig off
Is
now.
that? I mean, in today's
And that shit look like this, but he had the long flowing
There's
shit.
a little bit of manipulation to it, but I think it's more. I think if you know if it comes from the right type of person, then it's only to Because either way, you're gonna have to weed out like that. The person's gonna be the person who they are anyway. You're just trying to spare your feelings in the long run. So if I'm telling the right person, it wouldn't have mattered if it was the first date.
I like that.
Or right before, right?
That's
because
self-centered, though.
they're gonna say, oh, you know what? I understand that. We grown. It's what affects 1 in 3, 1 in 4 people, whatever that stat is. And then they can make a big boy decision or a big girl decision. But if you tell the wrong person, which you're afraid of, because you're like, oh, what the fuck, you dirty bitch, or whatever the fuck you're afraid of hearing, then that might be the case on date 1. But maybe if they like you a little bit, they'll let you down a little easier.
That can't be the case.
No,
Because
I
imagine if
don't
you had
agree
sex
with
with them.
that. I definitely don't
No,
agree with that.
imagine if you had the act of having sex. Now you feel
That's
betrayed.
manipulation.
That's the same. No, it's
Because
the
you
same
didn't tell.
fucking thing.
No, if they didn't tell you, if they
That's
had sex
a
with you and told
completely
you
different
afterward,
conversation.
That's your.
fucked
I'm
up.
meeting you on false pretenses.
No. I'm telling you, and now you can make the decision. Do you want to fuck me or
Exactly.
not? If you fuck me, we go, hey, by the way, my bad.
Remember-
Magic Johnson's a
Remember-
great
But
window for this.
manipulation is a very specific, act that requires certain
It's an
things
intention.
to
Is omission
inquire.
manipulation too?
It can
Is
be.
admitting
Same fucking
something
thing.
But I'm
manipulating.
saying, I said there's a little piece of manipulation to it, but it depends on the messenger.
But you also said that it's like you're trying to avoid getting feelings hurt now or later.
I agree with that.
I don't
Tell me why.
necessarily think that it's like, well, are they going to hurt my feelings now? Or are they going to hurt
No.
my feelings
You're
later?
fear
The
of judgment, though.
level
Because-
of feeling.
Can I get out my sentence?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So what I'm trying to
gonna flame
say
us up.
is that these people, you guys,
Not me.
because sometimes you guys talk over me a little bit, and most of the time I'll let it fly. You don't think that you talk over me
No, I
sometimes?
know we do. That's why.
Like
That's
dead
why
ass.
we.
Okay,
That's why we
okay. And I let it fly a lot.
That was what I liked.
So,
Let it fly.
so let's be cool, because I let it fly a lot because I pick and choose what I talk a lot, but I pick and choose what I really want to say. So
Absolutely.
if there's something I really want to say,
Nah, get your shit
I'm going
off.
to let y'all know.
Absolutely.
And you guys aren't going to act like
And
I'm
I'ma
crazy.
fucking respect you. Go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Now I lost my whole train of thought.
You said the manipulation
Exactly.
piece. You didn't think it
because
was.
I think what it is that we are allowing that these diagnoses, these things, determine this person. So again, our disabilities, our circumstances, our health, they do not determine who we are. These are still people. We don't walk out here saying, hi, I've been homeless. My credit score is this. I have this disease. I have this, you know what I mean? It's just like not disclosing all those other things. In that case, it would be that everybody needs to disclose all of these things that could potentially affect your life, your marriage, your relationship off the gate. It's like, okay, well, I need to know that your mom is this, you're an alcoholic, you're a drug addict, you have mental health issues, your credit score is this, and then we can decide. No, it seems more extreme because it is the health factor, but the thing is that people are living with these kind of diseases and these kinds of circumstances, and they still deserve to be dignified and treated with respect and dignity, and that means that they are not required to say as soon as they meet somebody, hey, by the way, I have this. Hey, by the way, I don't have this. That's not how it works amongst other people. So I think it's just an unfair and it's a bias because it is fearful. Now, if somebody is fucking you and then not telling you specifically for herpes, that's a whole different conversation. But I think that somebody wanting to go on a date, she said, I want to have the date and then I want to tell him. Them wanting to have the opportunity to just be them, to not be defined by their disease, to not be, counted out. That's not necessarily sparing my feelings. That's not egotistical. That's me being a human and wanting to be seen as me and not be defined by something.
No, I agree with
And
that's why I said it depends
to
on the
me-
messenger.
And that's why to me that, that manipulation, it doesn't seem malice. I wouldn't know if I would label it as manipulation
Right.
from that malice. I see what you're saying as far as the messenger, because then it would be the intent and this, that.
Because
and
what
the
you're
other.
saying is like, okay, that's coming from the right messenger. Where you're like, hey, this doesn't define me, whatever. So that whether you define as manipulation or not.
What are you talking about? You keep saying right messenger, and I don't know what that means.
Because-
who are you referring to? The person that is delivering the news that
Yes.
they have herpes? And so you're saying if the right person says it the right way,
No,
that,
like with the right intention. Like the stuff you're saying.
Yeah.
Hey, this doesn't define me. I'm going to tell you. I'm just trying to be like not defined by that right now, not being looked at
versus
only as that
somebody
person.
who's like,
versus
I want to
someone
make
who's
you like me before
versus,
I
hey,
tell you.
this is hard. I have no faith in myself to find love, and so I'm just not going to tell you until I absolutely have to, and even then, I don't want to. But hey, I can feel like I don't have any faith that I'll find anybody to where everyone's going to say no to me. And so instead of just getting the no right away, I'm going to stretch it out as long as I can. And then without saying anything. And then, you know, maybe in the chance that they love me enough, but they're going into it thinking every single person, they're going to like, I want them to love me. Not on some like, oh, I'm just trying to go out on a date.
And I understand those people exist. What I'm offering to you and to viewers and to Carl and to everyone is that we approach people with the hope and the grace. And that's why I said if someone discloses, you ever find yourself to give them grace, that we're going to go and give people the assumption that it's what I'm saying and not what you're saying. You're saying does exist. What I'm saying is that we don't treat people based off that assumption that that's how they're moving.
Me making that assumption was me trying to have fun first.
No, but
I stopped because I'm like, all right, well, she's saying everything I probably would have said.
My only thing
on
for
the
this,
real shit,
and we're gonna have to agree to disagree. But at the point where I let you know that I want to be romantically involved, that's when you gotta tell me. Right, like, yeah, we're cool, we're dating.
No, because that sounds like you decide when the pussy gets.
No, but see,
and this was just a first date though, so like they were not that right. Is that when we were gonna meet?
She
for the
said,
first time.
I feel it getting closer, so maybe this is like a second.
I thought it was like we're gonna meet. I want to tell him after I meet.
No, it sounded like she said,
and I see serious potential with him. If you say that, right, you have to tell me at that point because I get to decide, right? Because that's what.
But doesn't she say she's gonna tell him after they have the date? Did I make that up in my mind?
When she feels like sex is gonna be like coming up, and that for
so
me
that
that's
point
a little
when he says,
too late.
That's
but what if he
late.
didn't? If she's like, he hasn't brought up I want to have sex, but he's like, hey, I want to have sex.
We're missing context. But if I'm hitting you with the good morning text and I'm asking you how you doing, what you want to eat or whatever, and I'm giving you more time of day than I would the average person that I would consider to be my friend, I want to be involved with you. Or if I try to have sex or set up something that like for us to like maybe end our night with having sex or whatever, at some point we got to have that discussion.
And that's what she's saying. As soon as she feels those signals, that she will disclose that information.
It seems like getting close.
She said my plan is not to tell him until the time comes when I sense sex is about to happen.
Exactly.
But does that have to be the reason, or shouldn't it be when you and I feel like we're going to be romantically involved? Right? We're no longer just friends dating, trying to figure out if we cool.
I agree.
You get what I'm, that's where I'm coming from. It wasn't like on some like, yo, hey, my name's Carl, I got herpes, what's good with you? Like, not that. No. That doesn't make sense to do that.
No, not at all. Me and my boy were just talking about that. Like, you know, meeting someone, becoming friends, and taking more time in that, and then having that conversation of, hey, we've been hanging out, we've been getting to know each other, I like you romantically, or I'm now I want to get serious. Like, I think that, like, yeah, as soon as it's, or you feel it, you feel like they're giving you that energy, you feel, and definitely once it's communicated, I believe you're right. Like, it's got to be, it's not got to be like we're about to fuck in the bed and then you're telling me. That would be manipulative, because that's like a little bit of like, you can get into that coercion a little bit when like sex is, you're already in an intimate act and then you're like in this position, you know, so that's way a little too close.
And I'd be afraid. Here's the thing, I feel for her, because obviously it's like, yo, one decision that you made with someone that you trusted, they misused that trust from you, and now you got to live with this decision for the rest of your life. A lot of us have been lucky in our lives, right? You just named an incident where you were
dodged a bullet.
I met you know what's funny, when you said that, it didn't click into my head, but one of my good friends ran into that, right? And was told like a couple of weeks after, like, oh, hey, like this was my situation. And it was like, fam, something tell me like you knew this like for a while and you just didn't say anything. Good for them that they had protected sex when it happened. But I remember how it like shook my man's like foundation for like a couple of days. Even going to get tested, like, fam, you can get tested, but you don't know till you get an outbreak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, even the situation you said, like, yo, something ain't right. Who knows how much time went by? People like, oh, I got tested or whatever. Again, you probably got tested before the shit hit your system.
Exactly.
So it's like, you know, I feel for her in that situation, and it's a tough thing to navigate. I can't imagine. It's just that I don't know. I just feel like I need to know ahead of time. Do I think that I could date someone that disclose that? I don't think I can.
I think where where I'm kind of getting to where like I'm thinking about what you're saying is like maybe it's less of like to the point where when you decided like the partner has decided like, oh, I can tell he's feeling me, I gotta say something. I would think it would be like where she's at, like I'm really feeling him and I've decided I want to be romantic and not, and I've dated him enough, I've seen where this has gone enough to know that I want to take him serious. That is when I feel like, you know, it would be appropriate to say, because now I know what my intentions are. And that's where it could switch to potentially being manipulative or not wanting my feelings hurt, because now I know my intentions are to be romantically involved in you. It's not that we're just meeting or hanging out or getting to know each other. I want to date you. I would need to tell you this information now, so that way if you were there or getting there, then you have the time to make a decision.
Yeah, it's like if I'm trying and you're shutting me down for that specific reason, but if
and
you
you
didn't
haven't
have
said
that,
it,
yeah,
that's
like if any other normal time, like if that wasn't the case, like we'd be getting it to that point in our relationship. I feel like that's around the time you should tell me if that's the specific reason why you can't do it in the first place. Not religious reasons or, you know, trauma reasons or whatever. Yeah. Those things I can understand. Again, it's like patience. But if they're not happening for that specific reason. Because
you're hiding something. And that is manipulative. That is lying. Exactly. That is.
The good news for this young lady, I'm assuming one of them stats I said it was close to true at least. There's a lot of motherfuckers out here with that shit.
Exactly. You might get lucky. And tell your person sooner than later. No, literally. That's
me too.
And I know motherfuckers who end up
go crazy on each other.
That's real. Go ahead and hit my ad class, man. We'll do baby.
How did we get there?
I don't know. I knew that. You see how I sprinkled it in? I knew that was gonna be a charge.
Did you know I was gonna get?
Hell yeah, that's like right in your wheelhouse. You see how we steer clear though? We was like, hold up, ISO.
And that's why I say I don't have no suggestions no more.
Oh, man. All right, I got this from an article from a news thing, and this is what I said that we would talk about kids a little bit. I got this from an excerpt. Children are pushed to grow up too soon, taking on worries, responsibilities, and stresses of adult life, says Dr. Hafiz. This is happening in all areas of their lives, including school, extracurricular activities, and sports, and even social lives. But with parents emphasizing early achievement and setting the groundwork for future success, they can be doing their child a disservice. Little ones can experience stress and burnout when they should be focusing on developing social and emotional skills, especially through pretend play. For the safety of myself, I'm going to get my shit off early. I think this is a crock of shit. And the reason why I think it's a crock of shit is that I think that growing up as a minority, we got to work twice as hard to be able to get to the places that we want to. Maybe this shit works for, you know, kids of privilege, right? But it don't really necessarily work for me because out the gate, my mom always used to tell me, you got to have good grades, right? My dad pushed athletics and stuff. I had 2 shots, right? My mom was very hard on academics. My dad was very hard on sports until I got into college. One of those things worked out. And if I look at those things in hindsight, right, I'm thankful for that. So in that instance, right, yeah, I will say I'm fortunate. I do come from a privileged background to be able to have parents that had that wherewithal, but they had that wherewithal based on where they were. We didn't always live in this house. We lived in military housing for a long time. We didn't get here until about 99. And at that point, if it wasn't for the military, right, like how right online what we were talking about, we would have never got that GI loan, right? And therefore, we wouldn't have been able to afford this house because there are certain perks that come with being a military, you know, parent or being a military person where you get those perks. Now, I would say my dad went through a lot of bullshit in the military, right? Because the people that be joining the ranks, they come from all different parts of the country.
I'm sure.
More specifically from the South. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, he earned that. And I wanted to make sure when I was in school, when I got my GI Bill and shit, that I didn't waste it. That's why I finished. Because I was like, yo, he spent 20-something years in the military. I could do 4 years in college.
And I'm going to respect him.
Yeah, exactly. And not a lot of kids have that. Yeah. But as far as like pushing them too hard, some of the scary ass conversations that we just had earlier means that like we have to push our kids to a higher standard, right? Because it's like, yo, I don't want you growing up living like how you had to come up right now or how I had to come up, right? My kids don't know what it's like to live in a cramped space, so much so that when we go drive into houses, over here in this area, whatever. They're like, oh, it's an old house. I'm like, I was like, you know what's funny? And I have to tell them, like, yo, man, like, this is a house, though. You don't understand how hard it is for people to get a house. And this is what they have. They got rooms. They got shelter, protection. Y'all growing up with a certain privilege, right? And I want them to understand that and respect it. But at the same token, I don't think that there's a such thing. Now, yes, there are people that take it. Because my boy told me a story about this kid that's really good in soccer. He's on like a national team. He's like 11. One day he didn't want to work out, right? Dad socked him up. Like, nah, you gonna work out? We didn't waste all this time. And I was like, oh, this is you directly like living through him. I understand the conversation. It was the action of putting your hands on him to prove a point where it's like, yo, that's a little bit too far. So if that was the context where you have to get violent, you know, with your kids to make sure that you get results, then I'm not with that. Fuck you, dude, and I catch a fade with you if I see you in the street.
God.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum, I also have young kids. You've had, you know, young kids, and you have an older child right now. Sometimes these motherfuckers is lazy, right? And you know, you see the golf videos with my daughter and shit. She didn't really start liking golf until about 2 months ago, right? Like before, it was like, yo, I want to keep doing all the other bullshit that I was doing, right? Which is being a kid. Yeah, that's cool. Let's just start the foundation of you starting to learn something that could potentially be fruitful for you 10 years from now. I listened to her. I made her play t-ball this year. I watched her every game. Move out the way when that ball came. I sat there with her in the house and tried it, right? I was like, you know what? Shit ain't for you. And I'm all right with that, right? My stepson, he took a liking to it. He loves it. He won't play anything else. But he won't play baseball games like I did when I was a kid. He come home, play Fortnite, all that other shit. Then he go out and play baseball. That's all he give a fuck about. But to me, it's like, yo, getting him off the streets. The other thing that hit me where I felt like we get a little bit more advanced than Lex's kids, and that he keep bringing up Bloods and Crips to me, right? And it's like, look, man, you gotta go outside, dog. You gotta see that the world is different. Oh, we in the hood? Are those gangsters? These are the questions he's asking. And I remember when I went to the school right here down the street, I didn't start talking about Bloods and Crips and shit till I was like in 5th or 6th grade. So I was like, bro, he's like 3-4 years ahead right now, right? But that's a real thing when they start talking to kids from other areas on games and stuff like that, because they may have family members that live with a low socioeconomic status and expose their kids to different things, shit happens. But as far as like, look, we've been doing this as a people, minorities, right, of preparing our kids for this white man's world for a long time, right? So to hear them say this now, I just find it funny because it's like I still can't ease up off the gas.
Yeah.
I still can't name my daughter something that's super ethnic because when you put her name down on a resume or something like that, I want to make sure that somebody picks her up.
Exactly.
So I think that this is a crock of shit. This is one of the things that I'd be like, yo, these are one of these studies where I feel like we getting soft.
Can you give it to me one more time, just the first section?
Absolutely. Children are pushed to grow up too soon, taking on worries, responsibilities, and stresses of adult life. This is happening in all areas of their lives: school, extracurricular activities, and sports, and even their social lives.
Yeah, so I think where it is meeting at the middle. What you're talking about is a real ass reality, is using sports and extracurriculars to set our children up for success in the future, to keep them focused, to keep them out of danger, and to hopefully give them an opportunity. I think what happens is, and you know, working like with youth directly and dealing with parents and hearing, is that and having different trainings more recently, is that our students and I'm students because I'm talking now in my teacher voice, our youth, they're managing lives that they've never had to manage before. So they're managing because there is an expectation, because now parents are aware of resources and know how to leverage different opportunities and know that if they put work in here, there's opportunities to get this and that and the other. And so now there's this found applied pressure from parents and educators and coaches onto our young people, and our young people are having to manage these kind of expectations that they've never had to manage, and they're managing all these different facets of their life. So it's their academics, it's their social, it's their online presence, which is a huge thing because that's a whole nother world, whether that's social media or gaming. They literally have complete different lives online that they're managing. And then they're managing their athletics career, they're managing their music career, whatever it is, with these pressures. And so that is why, and they feel like they're not living up to the expectations, or they're feeling these pressures and they have no coping mechanisms, which is the point I'm going to make. They don't have any skill set on how to handle the demands, handle the failures, handle and understand the pressure and why it's being applied, because adults, we don't always have the best, our own skill set of using to explain to our children why the choices we're making for them we're making. And so that's causing our kids to spiral, and their suicide rates are going up. The depression rates are going up. They can't handle it. So I don't think, and I believe this, I don't think it's a crock of shit. I don't think that we're just making our kids soft. I think that the times are changing and we're trying to keep up with them. And I don't think there's wrong with setting boundaries and standards. But where the crack is that we're not giving them the support that they need. We're like, I want you to excel in all these areas because it's going to help you, but do it. Versus like, okay, well, since I want you to excel in all these different areas, I'm going to make sure that, we have a lot of conversations. You have mental support, emotional support. You have coping mechanisms. You have outlets. You have autonomy. You have a voice. I make sure that there's downtime for you. There's an opportunity for you just to be a kid. And I seek those things and I plan accordingly. So that way you're a well-balanced adult, young child, being presented with these different boundaries versus like, do this, which is what being adult is. These are your expectations. This is what you need to do. You should just know how to do it and handle it. Children are not like that. So if we're going to give them these routes and hold them to these standards, we've got to come underneath them and find a way of a foundation to support them through it. So that way they can sustain it, and it's not whatever they may be showing success in the outcomes, but we don't know what's happening to them psychologically. So that's where I'm at, where I'm like, I don't think it's a crock of shit. I don't think you're wrong, but I do think that our children aren't supported for the kind of lives that we expect and want for them to live nowadays.
I'm learning our communication style, so I'm gonna let you go next.
I'm gonna piggyback off that because I think you're coming at it from this logical, this how I grew up, this how I understand it. It all makes sense. I see it and I get it. But I don't think, especially the last part she said, which was super important, which is where I think because you had that, that's why you're not understanding the other side of it. Because if you push them like that, you can be setting them up for failure. And while you might see some early success, you don't know what's going to happen later if they can't sustain it or they have a rough patch or whatever it may be, because they've only lived under this light of I have to be excellent. And
my worth is tied to
the way you're pushing
production.
it is I have to be twice as excellent to get half the results. And that might be somewhat of a reality, but I'm going to tell you what the therapist told me, because I spend a very large amount of my therapy, instead of unpacking all of myself, just trying to make sure that I'm doing the right parenting shit. And she opened my eyes because I always looked at my mentality, which was very much that I got to do this, and that. But I never asked why, where it came from. And once I started really breaking that down, like obviously I'm not coming at it from the minority standpoint, but it was very much so, hey, the only way, like if I'm being neglected, unless I'm doing something super outstanding, and I'm a child and I don't know how to articulate that, but I see the results, then I just need to be nothing but outstanding to get bare minimum attention.
And if I'm not outstanding to level, I can feel like I'm not loved.
And I'm not loved, right? And so that put me in this survival mode of I have to be perfect in everything I do just to get the bare minimum of feeling loved as a child. And then if I make the mistake, it's the end of the world. And so realizing that and then growing up that way, I said, oh, you know what? That probably wasn't the best approach. It probably wasn't right. But damn, it sure made me independent. I got to here. I did all this stuff. I start pointing out the successes and tying it to that mentality. And a logical person would be like, for sure, you know, the silver lining was perfect. But then she was like, you can't think like that, because just because you did this, and that doesn't mean you were supposed to do that. You weren't supposed to be, you know, taking care of another child for hours on end at 6, 7 years old. You weren't supposed to be going out and having to do whatever to make sure this happened. And, you know, insert here all across the board. So it's not necessarily just sports, but just all across the board. If you're meant to be doing these things and it's like, oh, he had it rough, but he made it through, and so he's tough. But well, now you look at your kids like, how come you can't do this? I had to do it. And she's like, you got to stop doing that, because you should be looking at it a different way. Thank God they don't have to do that. Thank God they don't have to be that rough and tough right now. And we look at it as the people who went through it like, shit, they going to be soft though. They going to be this age. Everyone going to punk them. They're not going to be ready for the real world. This, and that. And I was really concerned about that. But she's like, you have to give the kids time to where, because I'm such a nurturer, because I'm so present, that it might not be when I think it's going to be, because I had to do it at this age, but there will be an appropriate time that the opportunity comes along for them to showcase that they're going to be okay, that they're not soft, or whatever word we want to insert for that. Mm-hmm. And it will be so much healthier in the long run that they're able to go further in whatever they choose and not hit that spiral because of all the pressures they have. And now, because of their peers and social media and everybody's a brand and all that extra shit, parents have even a harder job to make sure they're giving that support of keeping them in line with reality versus what they're seeing. Because everybody online is the best person in the world, living the greatest life. And then comparison is the thief of joy. They see that, they get sad, you know, why my house don't look like that? How come, you know, G tell me every day, where the fuck is your Tesla at? and, you know, shit like that. But I really had to step back, and that's why I was like, okay, I gotta just, and obviously every kid's different. You gotta tweak it. So when they enter a sport, yeah, we're about these W's, putting in this work, whatever it may be. But like, depending on who it is, I'm like, hey, you know what? You kind of struggle with this, like the social part. I'm not really worried about wins and losses right now. Let's learn the game. Mm-hmm. Let's get confident. Let's have some fun and build some type of bond between other people. Because especially in sports, team sports, once you do stuff, like we went to the coach's house to swim this weekend after the game. And I really wanted to go, not just because I was like, oh, I can hang out or do whatever, but I think something I didn't get to do in my team sports was I didn't get to do a lot of stuff because I went to a different high school than everybody, or whatever the case may be. It's not like my mom was setting me up for play dates or whatever. Building that bond, doing stuff with your team outside of just the sport is what gets you to that extra level. It makes me not want to let them down, work harder, because it's like, oh, that's my man's. Like, I'm not about to be the weak link. Not every kid is going to have that solo self-starting behavior of, no, I don't give a fuck about nobody else. I'm going to be great because I want to be great. Not every kid's going to be like that. But if you build that attachment with someone else, you're like, oh, I don't want to let them down. They're going to push me to be better than I would be because I care about them as a person, not just like, oh, he's on my team or whatever it may be. And so I really think that, and it's still hard to turn off because it's like, hey, you know, the world's not a nice place. It's scary. We just talked about this housing shit, like all this work you got to do just to maintain. But I've also been this kid and I ran through it. And for a long part of my life, it was like, oh, look at you. But I think, and on paper, cool. But inside, I'm like, no, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
But that's, again, that goes back to the approach. So it's finding that sweet balance of putting in the work. Like, you guys are excellent dads. I love the work that you put in. So maintaining that same energy, but coming in with that other coaching, that coaching of like, hey, you know what? Today you're out there doing the best. I want you to do the best. But when there's moments of failure and like, hey, I know you have this game today. I just want to, like, yeah, I want to see you beast out coming down with the W. But I just want to remind you, I love you no matter what.
Right.
Like, your success does not determine your love or your worth. Go out there, do your best, but just hint. So
That's
it's
the
having
half.
those conversations to support when there's losses, and then also not beating them up. It's not like, well, I'm out here every weekend I got and I'm pouring into you and you're losing and you're this and I've sacrificed that, because then again you're creating that internalized, damage and that internalized dialogue that like you said, it got you to the certain level of being able to success, but also it's also affected what you've shared, like different parts of like your mental health and the way you do things. So I think that
you got to ask about the relationship of the people that do that to you.
Yeah.
If you don't give that second half, now it's like, hey, I just ask a simple question. I see you've been looking like shit all week. Are you giving it your all? You tell me yes. All right, cool. I don't care if you make the mistake. I don't care if you lose. If you put 100% of yourself on the field or wherever you at, that's all I care about. I'm gonna be proud of you.
Yeah.
Y'all can get spanked, but if I saw you leave it all out there, I'm gonna be like, cool.
That's what I'm coming from. Effort. That's
yeah,
the easiest
absolutely.
way.
And you do have to, kids are lazy. You do have to push them to get that effort. But it's like about not, like you said, not getting physical, not demeaning them,
I
not.
didn't keep my daughter score when she plays.
You
I don't
know?
know. I don't know what she shoots.
I
with.
know, but
Exactly.
we're coming from a
that's
generation to where it was
That's right,
results based and not
I'm
effort
not on-
based.
and my,
So your approach
yeah,
is
my
right where we
approach
want
is
it.
effort. I just told you, right? She don't want to play baseball. That was my shit.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm tired of baseball too. Don't get me wrong. Like, yo, let's do something fucking different.
Yeah.
And I ask her, what do you want to do? You want to do soccer? Nah, that's a lot of running. Basketball? Huh?
I
I'll
feel
probably
it.
do it. And she said she'll do it. So I was like, fuck it, let's do it. You can't build muscle playing golf. I know that. Right? So she's in dance. Excuse me. But that's what she wants to do. She wants to dance. Cool. I just know that, look at your dad, look at your grandma, right? Both grandmas, right? You're not going to Juilliard probably. Let me just save you from that right now, right? Do all the dance shit, have fun. And it's not even the hip hop shit. The
Yeah.
hip hop shit is like $400 a month. I'm like, yo, you like this contemporary shit? Cool. It's cheaper anyway. Right?
But you're already not these people, because it's not like you're only doing golf, you're only dedicated to golf.
we do it twice a week.
You're supporting her in where like these parents exist where there would be like, you're only doing golf, you're not doing the dance, you're not making it to Juilliard.
Well-
And that's what develops the kind of psychological warfare that creates these statistics. So with the approach that we're suggesting people take, you're doing. You're supporting
Right.
her
And
emotionally.
I started early.
You're coming
You're
from a
supporting
household
her.
that did that with you.
I'm not from behind either. I'm
But
Like
early.
your dad was pushing the baseball, but he was right with you
Nah,
every
but
step of the way.
he was close to this.
But I mean, he was
Yeah.
with you every step of the way.
Yeah,
Maybe some of the
and I
delivery,
appreciate it now.
maybe some of the delivery might be a little outdated as of today, but he was there
And he-
showed up.
and
These
your-
are adult opinions
and
too.
your own growth as a
I'm
person.
sorry to cut you off. Keep going.
But
No.
it's an adult thing, right? Me, I'm pretty sure if I asked my mom, "Hey, do I have to get 100% on this test to make to make me feel like you love me?" If I asked her those words, she'd be like, "What are you talking about?" But if there's zero communication and I'm 5 and 6 and 7 and young, and I'm putting that together in my mind just on the results because I'm not asking no questions, then that's the truth, because that's my reality.
And that's why it's our
But
responsibility
do you
as
feel-
parents to
Okay, I'm
still
sorry.
nurture and to still give outlets to our kids. So yes, we can strive for them for success, condition them, but still allowing them the autonomy. I like dance. I still want to do dance. So you're going to do golf. You're going to do it twice a week. You're going to focus, but you're also going to be supported in being able to what you want to do also. That's where that balance is, and that conversations versus coming up
Because
from an old school parent that's like
the
Let me ask
difference
you a
is-
question.
no
Let me ask both of
conversation.
you guys a question. Do you guys feel like your parents were results based?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the thing, right?
I don't know your parents, but it's hard for me to say that your mom
No,
was.
because you're not understanding what I'm saying. Because the parents we're talking about are vocal about it. I had to make that shit up in my mind because I wasn't getting anything. I had to make it all up as I was going. I was a trial and error baby myself. It was, hey, okay, I'm on some regular shit. I'm not getting no attention. Oh, I got straight A's. I got a little bit of attention, but that's something. So what do I link that to? I have to be damn near perfect just to get that. And so now I go through life trying to be damn near perfect because I'm just searching for that. It's just, I'm just looking for some type of high. And I don't know how to articulate it because I'm a child. But it's not even someone telling me, you can't do this unless you win. You can't do, because that still exists. But me, it's like I didn't get that, so I couldn't be like, okay, that's what it was. It was me going, fuck, I don't know. This works. That doesn't seem to do anything.
We see it a lot.
And I'm not asking questions because I don't know what questions to ask because I'm a child.
Yeah.
But I'm just doing what I see.
And we see it in children's behavior. Sometimes they take two routes when they're trying to get that attention. They'll go one route where they're trying to be a superstar and excel to create their feel self-worth, or they'll act out and they'll misbehave.
They're just looking for attention.
It's just attention. But either way, you feel like you have to produce in order to receive love or feel loved. And that's why the conversations, along with the work ethic and the holding your kids accountable, are essential. So all the pieces come together. They have the work ethic, they have the drives, they have the opportunity, but they also have the psychological love, support, and understanding that if these things don't work out, or if I don't perform, or if something, it doesn't mean I'm worthless. It doesn't mean I'm unlovable. It doesn't mean I cannot be successful in other ways.
And then where the resentment comes in is, as a child, you're like, okay, I get the attention because I'm perfect. I never really tried the other route of just wilding out.
Okay.
But, okay, and then you get older and you're like, oh, I'm getting the attention, but now it looks like it's a public thing. You're only acknowledging me in front of other people because you're like, you want to point out my accomplishment as if it's a product of parenting?
Dude.
I don't like that. And it doesn't make me go, okay, let me just throw all my shit down the toilet because I didn't work hard for all this. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. But now it's just like, all right, I see what this is. But I never really put that together until we sat there for a couple weeks and broke it down, which is like, okay, this isn't normal. And I don't want to push this normal to me onto my kids. What do I need to tweak? And half of the battle was already won because I'm there constantly. Now I just have to get out of my head about making mistakes in front of them because they're like, okay, well, you have to let that shit go too. The fact that you still keep going is what they need the most. And there's no room for questioning. There's no room to think what you think. What is he thinking? Or is this what's happening? No, because I'm very vocal. It's not results based. You can go out there and get your ass kicked. I'm going to say, hey, we got to learn how to get our ass kicked.
Yeah.
And okay, oh, you're not playing so much? Why do you think that is? Okay, but if you want to play video games all day, that's on you. That's on you. I tell them
that part I can't allow.
No. What I'm saying, no, because that's the thing too. I can push you. I can take the video game away. Hey, we're just gonna work out all day. But if it's not something, especially at this age, I don't know if you truly love this shit yet. Maybe you find something that makes you want to put that work in, makes you want to do it without being scolded and like just threatened to put in the work.
It's not a sports thing though. It's anything.
It is anything.
If bro said I don't want to play sports, or if my daughter said I don't want to play sports, cool. You're gonna be reading books. You're not coming here playing video games all day.
I'm not talking about just video games.
I get what
specifically.
I'm not saying that you're saying that. I'm just letting that point be known.
Yeah.
That like, yo,
you're doing something.
I'm
Music,
okay with
reading.
you not doing these things. I'm advocating. Fuck, it's chess club, ASB. Fucking something else. Like, bro, you have because if you don't work, you don't eat, right? And then when I say work is subjective, right? Yo, if you can figure out some shit on your phone where you can make $500,000, cool. If you gotta go to a fucking yard and crush rock all day to make $500,000, cool. You gotta find something. You gotta find what's your personal niche that's gonna keep you going. The way I look at my shit right now. If my daughter never played professional golf, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I just want you to go to school for free.
Amen.
You know why? Because dad got it to the point where you can do all this shit and do that. I wasn't good enough to get a scholarship, right? But I was good enough to get into college, so I pushed both, right? So it's like you have to be able to have that balance. Find something. Find out who you are. And I have to help you do that.
As you're helping her do that, are you also keeping in mind, though, at what point? So it's like we're trying to get you the scholarship, but at what point am I also keeping in mind how this work is affecting how you feel? Like you're going at it with both with both things in.
Yes, because we had a conversation, and this is my last point on this, so
Yeah.
we can get up out of here, and then I'll let you guys get your last point. We had a conversation in the car back in February, and I asked her. I could tell by the effort she was putting in baseball, and I was at a loss, right? It was her first little sporting experience, right? And we hadn't played golf in like 3 or 4 months. I didn't do anything in the house with her. I was like, yo, one thing at a time. Mm-hmm. And this summer, I hit the jets on it because I was like, oh, we got to learn something new on this so that we can keep going, as many facets. And I said, yo, you want to play baseball? And the deal that I made with her was that she would play again next year. Mm-hmm. And she would play till she was 7, and she didn't have to play anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then the more we kept doing shit, like golf and everything, I was like, this is the shit that she's naturally good at. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to... I know we made a deal. The deal was more about me. You know what I mean? Let's just find something else to go in congruence.
Yeah.
What else do you want to do? I want to do dance. Started dance again in August when they open back up. You can do both.
Yeah.
So, and that opportunity and that conversation, and I get where y'all coming from, didn't exist here.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted something different.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
saying you don't necessarily see that part, and we just have to understand that overall, because you didn't see that part, that's why you don't understand. He's like, oh, this is a crock of shit, but it's getting softer because not everybody's doing what you saw and what you're doing, because we're not doing what she was talking about in that second half, which is we have to get them, we can push them. Energy and effort is the most important part, but whether the parents are trying to say energy, effort, it's really coming off as results, wins, losses.
Good articulation.
Not about the effort, or we'll question the effort because you lost, but it's more so, hey, if you really giving it, they don't spend the time to really go into depth because a lot of kids aren't going to understand. Like, you
Kids
really
understand a lot.
have to, but I'm saying you got to like really get it to them.
You have to coach them
Hey,
on the other end of it.
There's a difference between winning and putting in all the effort. Sometimes you win and y'all are bored as shit. And that's why I say,
You're not challenged.
that's what I say. When we got these easy teams lined up, I'm like, y'all can go extra hard in practice. And the harder y'all go in practice, the easier these games are going to be. And that is the mentality. Yeah, as a fan, I want to see a better game than this. But as a coach, you're like, hey, practice should be the hardest part of your week. You want the game to be easy. You did all this running, all this crying, all this work just to be like, damn, this game is hard as fuck. Or be like, oh, cool. All that work, I can see it paying off because here is the result. And you can tell, hey, I'm not putting effort at practice, and that's why when the game comes, I'm fucking lost.
True. 3 cheers, or anybody else got anything else they want to throw in there?
No, yeah.
All right, we hit these 3 cheers. Today I had energy, so I let it flow. That shit was funny as hell. I was like, man, I'm tired. I was like, I got to put this on there. I didn't even get that shit on the mic. I'm going to put this on social media, though. 3 cheers. Look. Rest in peace, Fat Man Scoop, man. Hip hop is getting old. I know Lex played. I'm glad he played his music on the top half of the episode. That shit, I had to sit down when I seen that, right? And I was like, yo, I haven't been checking for him, but he was in so much shit, like the breathing that just like brings up like the dancing and shit like that from our era. And he was young. I think bro was like 53. They said he collapsed, on stage while
I've
performing.
seen the video. I can't believe they put that shit out.
Yeah, I'm not watching that.
I haven't seen it. I didn't know it was
It's
out.
not super graphic, but still. Like,
Yeah, I don't want to see somebody go out like that. That's how I felt watching Nip. You know what I mean? Where they had, a little bit of the video of like him talking. I was like, yo, I haven't been back to that since the day Nip passed. So, I hate the era that we live in, because this is what we're talking about on social media and pressures and shit. We're so desensitized because of what's available that I'm still connected to the era where we just hear about things and send people and their families well wishes. But that one hurt a little bit. That was up there for me on the top ones, because it just brought me back to a time period that we grew up in, and I was just like, damn, hip hop is really old. I had a question in here. We're already 2 hours in, where they were asking some kids at USC, what did they consider old? And some of their answers were anybody born before 2004 and 2002.
We're ancient.
Yeah. And even you said when you went to PB, it's like, it's too many young people around here. I was like, damn, even I would say some shit like that, but I don't feel like I'm old though. You know what I mean? It's just that I ain't fucking with y'all because y'all
young.
Y'all gotta call your mom still to ask when your dentist appointment is. You know what I mean?
Literally.
Yeah, like I remember being that young. I'm not trying to talk to somebody who don't know what they shit is. Like, nah. But yeah, man, rest in peace, Fat Man Scoop. Y'all?
I want to give it 3 cheers to this faith-based mom group, mothers support group, that I'm been a part of. It's a international organization. It's a faith-based international organization called Moms Co. So you can look up different chapters in your area. But my group is starting up again. We took a little hiatus over the summer, and we start back up next week, or on the 4th, I believe. We meet weekly, sometimes like every other week, I think. And we potluck, and it's at a local church, and we do kind of what we do here. You know, we talk, we have different discussions, and we have different topics that we talk about, and it's just like that. I remember that group was like one of the first things that made me feel like a human again. Like when I first started like re-entering the world after giving birth to twins, just having the opportunity to sit down, to be present, to connect, to exchange stories, ideas, to be open to having our perspectives changed and to hearing something different and allowing myself, time to commune with other moms. It's something that's amazing. It's something that's needed. And I just want to give 3 cheers to that organization. It's definitely not, from my experience, as diverse as I would like, but I still appreciate the community. And I know a lot of moms out there. So if you're looking for some support and some community, I'd love to get you linked in and invite you, if you're here in the San Diego, to my chapter. But also we can find your location. So 3 cheers to Moms Co. for supporting moms out there. Absolutely. All age moms.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with all age kids.
Lex?
I'm a 3 cheers.
Hey!
Lamar Odom.
Oh, wow.
That's a wild one.
So you got the punchline. Let me land. Okay, so if anybody's familiar with him, he's a former NBA player.
What else?
And he's a former Kardashian.
What else?
And during that time, he kind of crashed out.
Yeah.
He went a little crazy.
Yeah.
He was at the ranch. He was having a good time.
Yeah, he was.
And so now today, growing up, seeing his whole career, seeing that whole time frame, being a grown man, watching
and
him
his
spiral,
background,
and now today he is the new owner of 3 drug rehab facilities in California.
Wow!
And he's out here, and I think he's making it like semi-affordable for like everybody.
That is a good 3 cheers, because you're right.
Sorry for laughing.
Exactly. We're assholes. I'm an asshole.
As soon as you laugh, I'm about to get him
over here talking about not judging people.
What else is he known for? What else is he known for?
I'm an asshole, not using. You're right. I'm an asshole. And that's a good 3 cheers. And everybody's got a journey in recovering. And shout out to him for using his testimony for something good. Real quick,
today was a good test, and we all passed. So we're now taking guests.
Hey!
Because today I put some information, I put some material in there. You didn't even know how I was testing you, right?
You ain't shit.
I put some material in there that was gonna get us to a point where I was like, she gonna have to overcome this real quick, right? In terms of like, but that's the thing, right?
Shout out to my self-development and therapy.
It's not even just you though, right? It's all of us picking up on cues, knowing when I can tell the joke to say, hey, look, I'm podding.
What's that mean? You got somebody lined up?
No, but she's had people hit her up, and I've been telling her no. So I'm letting it be known we're cool with having a 4th mic because we all understand each other. We ain't had no beef in like 6-7 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's left with any resentment, and anytime we've been tested with any information, we understand we just getting our shit off and we land where we land.
Yeah.
And even when we had that little quick moment today, I was like,
I was like, let me finish my sentence.
But I was like, let me hear what she's saying. And I sat back and I was like, okay, I get where she's coming from. I got to come with a better direction of where I'm getting at, and we hit a place of understanding. Shit like that, right? Where we can all leave the mic and be dope. So, and we're all dope no matter what in our own right. So we out of here.